Society, Dr. Brown, Mr. Deity, Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Mr. Deity, where you been? In my corner of the ring, fighting life, trying not to get counted out or throw in the towel. On the ropes, I'ma lean till my vision see clean, blood in my eye. This world is a bad dream. As long as money's king, I feel funny in my being. You can see it when I walk and you hear my shackles cling. IMAX, bigger picture, niggas still don't see a thing. It's 2014, still flag torching. Fucking inflation make it hard to cop groceries. So don't be surprised if someone run up with that sorcery. Levitate your wallet, give me the loot. Chris Wallace, capitalizing. Democracy at its rawest. Sucker, you the trees, I'm the forest. I'm the earth, you a Taurus. I'm Black Jesus, you don't know who a Saw is. Hannibal Vicarious, every bar's a battalion. Spirit of a panther with the Kevlar medallions. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. They still got our children pledging allegiance to flags that spill red and blue blood to white out history we had. No Django 8 years ago, took my chains off. 4-man sword Hotep and took James off. 80% of prisons overpopulated with colored brothers. 30% of our children aborted by mothers. Most of the gun violence is a brother on another. Most of the work on the street, we sell to one another. What's the equation to these mathematics? When you control the minds and the economy, multiply the madness. The ghetto's an experiment created by your masters. We tried to change that shit, but they killed all the Panthers. Fred Hampton, bullet holes in a bloody mattress. This Liberation Patriot Act, terrorist action, sponsored by your local revolutionary rapper. I voted for assassination, you can cast my ballot. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. Politics, money, religion, they divide us. Let's bring it back together with some K's right beside us. Stars shine bright, sucker, how you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. They divide us. K's right beside us. How you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us. They divide us. K's right beside us. How you gon' hide us? Higher than planes in Malaysia, can't fly us.
Myth, interpreted as it was later on in history, led to profound conceptions of the woman as inferior, and sometimes in some civilizations as essentially evil. So she's supposed to be the great seductress, the weaker kind, etc. This was not the case in the African mythology. So that you already had a divine myth which gave a basis. It was a sort of bedrock for a reality. But the most important goddesses were black. Not just for the African now, in the civilization of the Greek. The Greek was so profoundly affected by the Africans that the goddess of chastity was a black woman, Artemis. The goddess of wisdom was a black woman, Minerva. The goddess of beauty was a black woman, Diana. And many of their great mythological figures which were critical to the vision of history, the history of the Greeks in the Odyssey. The woman who draws, who has the power to draw Odysseus and all his crew into her, is Circe, who is represented as a black woman with African features on the Greek vases. The woman who helps Jason win the Golden Fleece is a black woman, Medea. The woman who marries Perseus, the Greek hero, is a
Peace, family. Yo, thank you for joining us. Right? And I'm thrilled to announce the fact that we are now releasing our first free e-course. Come and learn about Geometry Journey, see some of the stuff we do. Come and join the tribe. Tribe up with us and check out the free e-course. And we'll make sure that the URL pop up right about here. And it'll probably be somewhere in here. Check us out, family, because we are building. Come and learn about Geometry Journey, and let's build together.
To have melanin embedded in our skin is a gift.
Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black? Too strong? Yeah.
We were born to be great.
Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black?
Check 1, 2. Hey, this is Hot Tim. Once again, coming at you with Gianni Talk. I'm sitting here with Brother Deshaun. He's royal in the Gianni tribe. He's also going to be assisting up at the Simba camp, and he's a major player here in Columbus. A young man. I know it's kind of strange that I'm opening up these interviews with a young man, but I want to see what things are going through a young person's mind that make them make the changes in their life that a Brother Deshaun has. Brother Deshaun, if you would, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Deshaun. I'm 18. I'm a senior. I go to Columbus Public Schools and live in an urban neighborhood.
All right, thanks, Deshaun. Now, check this out. This is the line of questioning. But before we get into the line of questioning for Gianni Talks, you just went to a convention in Boston, if I'm not correct, for the Urban League. Could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, I went to the National Urban League Youth Summit. Different affiliates from over the world, all together in one place. So while I was there, I met some people from Alaska. So, you know, when they left, the population in Alaska went down 0%.
Okay.
At the conference, met many people, politicians, actors, people in government. Met the first black governor who has been re-elected twice, the governor of Boston. Stayed 5 days on Northeastern campus. Had a good time while I was at the conference.
All right, cool. Right on line of questioning. Now, this is what's key for me. First off, one more thing. How long have you been involved with Urban Warriors, Gianni Tribe, and Simba?
It's been about 4 years.
All right, now this is the question, because you know in our lessons we talk about the process of self-mastery, and of course, you know, for those of us out there listening, self-mastery is nothing but another name for what traditional people call rites of passage. So, what led you in your life to the point to where you wanted to separate yourself from what everybody else was doing? Because at some point in time, you had to decide, I'm going to sit down and listen to how Tim run his mouth for about 35 minutes, because I might be able to get something out of this. What was it in your life that caused you to separate yourself from the things that you were doing? Because that's the first step in self-mastery, separating yourself. So how did you separate yourself? What was it?
I changed my thought process, started hanging around different people, opened up to new things, lost a couple friends in the process. Networking is key. If you're not networking, you're never working at all. Networking is a big piece of it. So when separating myself, I just started networking. How can I better myself by the relationships I build?
So in a sense, you decided that you was going to invest more time in relationships rather than maybe some foolishness that somebody at 14 might be involved in.
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Now the next phase, next step, so we get through this interview, is initiation. What do you consider was your personal initiation? What secrets did you find on your journey that make it possible for you to be successful? Although you're not rich and wealthy and what a lot of people compare with success, I'm saying you're successful because you're able to help maintain the Gianni Tribe. You're a major organizer with that. You're a major organizer with the Urban Warriors, and you're a major organizer for our chapter with Simba. Can you please tell me what was the initiation for you, and what were some of the secrets that you found that was useful to you?
The people that I had surrounding me. One night during my initiation phase, in the middle of nowhere, a group of people, and the person closest to me, which is one of my best friends, still is, made a statement during our phase, and he was like, I need someone that's going to be here and build with me. I need someone that's going to be right here. Are you that one? And I said yes. So during that phase, I just thought, am I the one? Am I the one that can do certain things? I'm the one that I can deal with other people.
All right, last phase, and then we're done with the interview because I know you're kind of nervous, but you're doing real good. You know, if y'all listening, Deshaun has made a lot of growth because at one point in time, I wouldn't even be able to get him to do this. He's snatching the mic out of my hand right now, and he's doing his thing. But now let's get to the reintroduction phase. Now, you've been through your separation. You said that you started, your separation was being able to come out of your shell and start networking more. You said, you made a very powerful statement. You said, if you're not networking, you're not working. That's hot. I'm going to steal that. That'll be a blog real soon. And then you said in your initiation phase was a friend, a close friend to you, asking you or saying to you that he needed something and you became that need. Now, the reintroduction. All the work you've been doing, what are your plans as far as introducing what you're doing, your success? What is your plans for introducing this to the world? It's time for you to be reintroduced to society. You made it through your initiation phase. How do you plan? How will you expose what you're doing to the world? I started a blog.
Name of the blog? The name of my blog is The Warrior's Way. Many people are on a path. They don't know where that path is going. A warrior's path is always to greatness. Next, I'm filling the whole radio, so that may be next. Newspaper. Social media is becoming very big now, so that's always going to be a part of it. Spreading the word to people in the community. And that's about it.
I'd like to thank you, Deshaun, for tuning in and being willing to be my first interview. I know y'all find it kind of strange, but I thought it would be appropriate for me to start with somebody that's young, that's out there doing it. So this is GNJ Talks. I'd like to thank you for listening, and with that, I say peace.
Community bank invest in the community. It's not enough just to make loans in the community.
Lovely thing about the community bank is they know what you're kind of going through.
We use every facet, from truck loans to equipment loans. They feel like part of my team.
Community bank has been an important part of our growth and success.
The community bank is trying to grow the community. No matter what happens, they'll always be my first call.
All experiences are positive. I mean, I've never had a bad experience with community bank.
Get out of the old and get into the new at Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan. When you drive one of our vehicles, you'll discover the thrill that only comes from driving a Dutro vehicle. Why buy at Dutro's Auto? We offer a great selection, quality reputation, and competitive pricing. And our customer satisfaction is second to none. Discover the thrill of driving a Dutro vehicle today. Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan in Zanesville, Muskingum County's largest volume dealer. You will pay less and get more at Dutro.
Community bank invest in the community. It's not enough just to make loans in the community.
Lovely thing about the community bank is they know what you're kind of going through.
We use every facet, from truck loans to equipment loans. They feel like part of my team.
Community bank has been an important part of our growth and success.
The community bank is trying to grow the community. No matter what happens, they'll always be my first call.
All experiences are positive. I mean, I've never had a bad experience with community bank.
Got my daughter Afua, I got her friend Keisha, and I also got my other daughter Mahel just sitting up in the spot. We're gonna have a nice little lively conversation because we all just getting back from journeys. But first, I just want to send out a shout to Oxy Water and as well as the Gypsy Lounge because they sponsoring this little live chat that we got going on right here, right now. So if you're not catching it live, catch it on my podcast. So with that, I'm about to jump right into it. First off, listen. Look, I'm still live here at the hookah, although I'm podcasting this. So once again, I gotta send out shouts to my seconds, and here we go. We on the air. I'm back, yo. Check this out. We got part 2 of what happened to hip hop. I'm sitting up here with Melly Mel and Brother Kojo. We about to kick it. Sitting up here at the New Harvest Cafe, sending shouts out to New Harvest Cafe for supporting this. And we had a little podcast, and it was so live. I said I'm bringing this live and direct. So if you don't catch this one, catch the podcast. I'm gonna send out information over Twitter and stuff. Y'all got my Skype number. Y'all can Skype in if y'all got questions or comments or whatever. Let's keep it hot. Now, we're about to get back into part 2 of our conversation, and we're going to move on from where we left off at. So, I'm here with Kojo. Say what's up, Kojo.
What's happening, audience? Kojo, Bobbio, hanging out. We just down here at New Harvest, man, having some conversations, and I'm, trying to be an old head, Melly Mel, the original flavor. Not trying to be an old head and knock the young boys, but to try and give some true history, because we have to understand, we have to order our steps. And I think the steps are out of order, and a lot of these young boys really don't get it. So, and I still love they motherfucking ass.
You got to. Melly Mel, what's going on, bro?
Hey, one and only, you hear another one, he's definitely a phony. This man, what I'm following up on is, like Common wrote, my homie said, I used to love her. I still love her, but what we went wrong, or the difference is, like you said, RB in the Vanguard, we after we went to college, she went a little West Coast, and that was a shift, a paradigm shift. And what happened? We went from gangsterism to materialism, and it's been decades that we've been stuck in that era. And that's where we're still at. We're still in the materialism, gangsterism, sex and violence era of hip-hop, or rock, or rap anyway. And that is the forefront of hip-hop, and that's what people think is all about. There's more to it than just that, and that's what's taking over. And as a result of that, we're not leading. We're not setting the right image. We're not being a vanguard. We're sitting there and we're letting people outside the culture dictate what the culture is. So what's happening is a lot of older folks turned off by it, like, oh, I don't want to hear that mess. I don't want to hear that. They talk about the same stuff. But the problem is because no input, no guidance, they being led astray by
Melly, like I said before, bro. Like I said before, Melly Mel, and I say this to you and Hot 10. You all, and y'all dropped the ball, man, with the young hip hoppers. I came out of the age of old school, baby. I'm gonna be honest with you. When the hip hop, the thing that I heard was the Furious Five, when they came out.
The message. That's what I'm saying. That's what hip hop came out. That's what hip hop's supposed to be about. The message. So that's what hip hop is.
Hip hop is a message. We're just not catching it.
I saw a mass movement then, and I thought for sure at that point that's some good stuff. PE, when they came out, Public Enemy.
No, I'm saying prior to PE, when the message came out, that's when the older generation started saying, like, that's noise,
but
it ain't real music.
Melly, I came out of the Black Power movement, man. It was all about community and culture. So I saw snippets of it, Melly, and then I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, here we go. White boys about to take advantage of these Negroes, and they're going to sell out because they're going to be putting the money on the table to the highest bidder.
That's the issue I think Melly Mel is bringing up. See, because we didn't realize what we had. Because at that point in time, people was telling us what we had was garbage. It wasn't going to last. It wasn't going to be able to grow. It's a fad.
You can't do nothing with that.
You can't do nothing with that. You can't make a living with that. You need to go to college and become an engineer.
Get a job.
Right, get a job. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't telling us to start a business.
Right,
they're telling the kids that today.
They're telling them to get a job. And that's what we've been
And that's the issue. See, because this is one of the things that I want to cover with hip-hop. When we talking about hip-hop, being a hip-hop philosopher myself, I think that the path that we're walking is very similar to the story where the guy talk about the dude that owned a gold mine, who owned a farm, and he wanted to go find gold, and he left the farm to go find gold. When he came back to the farm because he was frustrated because he couldn't find nothing, he wanted to go back and work with the cows. He found out that
he has sold the biggest gold mine in South Africa.
Right.
We got a gold mine. We are not looking at hip hop for what it is.
I mean, think of the message. The message was an extension of what Umar and them was doing. It was just put the music. It was think about what Umar.
Let's deal with today. It's 2011.
But it's all connected.
Sankofa,
That's what I'm saying. We can't disassociate it. We got to think circularly. We can't snip it up into
How do we capture the imagination when you have people like Lil Wayne and Waka Flocka and Crazy? I'm trying to understand. You know, now it's going. It's like they buck wild. You know, it's like
we let it go and cut and turn our hands and wash our hand up. It's gonna continue.
Right.
We gotta say, hold on. Here's what the deal is. Y'all missing the point. We gotta round up some of these youngsters and put them back in the right path. That's it.
Melly, Hot 10. My question is, do you all feel that you dropped the ball?
No,
I just want to know, do you feel like
I personally don't feel that because, like I said, with hindsight, I see the ball we had.
Okay, but did you drop the baton then? If you didn't know you had a baton,
I say people in my area did. I say some of the
matter of fact, we built the baton while we was running the goddamn race.
I'm still in the race. That's what I'm saying.
So what are you saying? So you still have the baton?
Yeah. And
you ain't passed it?
I'm passing it, not the whole thing yet. While I'm still here, I'm still running with it.
I'm still running. You know what I'm saying? Because my whole career is
I'm ready to pass the baton.
But everything I'm doing is built up on hip hop. And the way I work is hip hop. So, I mean, I live hip hop. Or as KRS-One put out, I am hip hop. And once we start getting people start realizing that, because eventually Lil Wayne is going to grow older and he's still going to have influence. And in some form or fashion, somebody like myself may be able to touch him so that he can start using his influence to start getting stuff to move. But what we always got to understand, if we don't get a grasp of it now and start having the classes and start taking hip-hop seriously, we're going to have a whole nother generation that's going to be a little wilder than this one that we're dealing with right now that's going to take it over.
I tell you, when Quincy came into the game, man, of jazz, and he met giants like Coltrane and Miles, and he was sitting there, he was just totally fascinated about him. But you see, these cats used to sit down and you know, the modern jazz quartet, when he met all these cats, man, he was like, wow, Harlem Renaissance, you know. He sat there and they taught him.
Right, but that's the difference. He taught them.
Right,
they taught him.
And hold on, let me finish. So he did the same thing, you know. There was a stewardship. And he felt it was his responsibility to make sure that when he passed this thing on, that everybody understood the essence of what this was all about. The music was not about just creating music. It was about a culture of now changing lives and changing communities. When hip-hop's hit the scene, bro, I saw it was a mass movement. It had not only economic development involved, it had a social construct to it, it had a whole thing that had to do with an economic development piece.
But it was led by teenagers.
It had culture, it had education, it had a whole stream of things happening. I felt, and
it was led by you.
And that's the difference.
And then all of a sudden here came gangster rap.
But that's
so I'm trying to understand.
But I'm saying that's
but you see,
gangster rap was always there.
That was
because I like. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. You know one of the first people that turned me on who I really started liking.
Lightning Red.
But who I really started liking at first. Now I liked Ice-T. Ice-T been out for that was
long before. Yeah.
6 in the morning,
right.
He just didn't get
the same publicity.
You know what I'm saying? My point is, gangster rap has always been there. What happened was certain elements came in, took it over, and now gangster rap is the major piece. That's all that we hear. Now, that's still a part of hip hop, but what we have to do is we got to start encouraging people to bring out the conscious piece.
When you say balance, you got most.
We got to have the balance.
We
got to have the balance.
You got
and now another piece is with jazz. Jazz has, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to insult any jazz players, but jazz has never reached the amount of money that hip hop is doing right now. Never. You know what I'm saying? So now, once you throw that money in, and you got a Lil Wayne who has this talent, because I mean, let's break it down. Jay-Z broke it down the best. Jay-Z said, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the line. Jay-Z said he could easily rap like Common Sense, but he sold a couple of million albums and he hasn't rapped like, he won't never rap like that. Basically what he's saying is it don't pay to rap like Common Sense. We done raised a whole generation up on not giving back to the community, not building the community, not nation building, not warriorship, but we built them up on you need to get that money.
Get your money.
Right? Now, so you talk about we let her know. We was taught that. You need to get your money. And that's what these boys doing. So I'm not mad at Lil Wayne or Waka Flocka. What I'm mad at is those of us that's sitting around like us, we're the elders, we're becoming elders. We need to be able to start getting some influence so that we can start talking to them.
No, you need to call them motherfuckers out, Hot
No,
Tam,
but it's
for
twofold.
what they
It's
are. No,
twofold.
fuck that.
You gotta
man.
have these young
Call
kids.
them out and say you ain't done shit. You haven't contributed nothing, and that's not where we came from this shit.
But what happens?
What I'm saying.
But what happens when that happens? I'm gonna tell you what happens when that happens. When you call
scared?
out, no. What happens?
Because them motherfuckers making millions just sitting here playing out the knock your
What
fucking
happens
ass
is
off,
when
right?
somebody confronts one of them. This is how they chill people out. This is how they chill people out. They bring up their material growth. They say, I got this, I got that, I got that. Where yours at? And the person usually shut up.
Right.
Because they know they caught up in materialism too. So they're like, you're right, I ain't got no plane, I ain't got no car, I ain't got these houses, I ain't got these millions, so I can't tell you nothing to do. It's the same argument that rich people have with poor people. Poor people be like, athletes and entertainers need to pool together their resources, help out the poor black community. The rich people say, well, y'all black poor people need to stop spending y'all money on this foolishness, on this, and the other. They won't listen.
Chuck Perkins said it perfect. He
Poor
said
people won't listen to rich,
we
rich
have
won't listen to
become
poor.
these MCs, and he called them misogynistic clowns.
True.
He said the MCs are misogynistic clowns, wallowing in the cesspool of contempt, and we have the audacity to refer to yesterday as the good old days. And we look to see what's happening today. We're taking almost bribes. We're taking death money, bro.
You're right.
We're taking money, bro. We are actually offering our soul. Absolutely, bro. The soul ourselves out.
We sold ourselves out. But they
you
were
said
talking.
we. You said Jay-Z.
Right. Jay-Z, my generation. But now let's look at the direction he's going, because he's getting older now. So his whole thing is shifting. Now his lyrics is still making money, and he's still on the hip hop with the small H's, as I explained in the other tape. Y'all gotta listen to the first part of this, the small H's in the hip hop. But he is also involved in the hip hop part, far as being conscious with his money and doing things and setting good
like
examples
Madam
for
C.J.
money.
Walker. I used to understand how people used to celebrate Madam C.J. Walker. I say she making straightening combs and hair products and all this other kind of stuff, taking us away from our culture. But what she was doing with that money was helping on the flip side. And so I'm saying that's what needs to be done. Some of these hip hoppers is out there that's making this big money on the negative little H side. Take that money and say, hold on, we're gonna start our own distribution.
So the difference between the little H is disrespect to the culture, and the big H.
No, it's just immaturity.
Right.
It's just immaturity.
So if you listen to the last tape, the last show, we all agreed that the big H
is
maturity,
conscious respect.
It's the ebb and flow.
But then the little H.
Little H is
disrespect.
Immaturity. You go through that phase where you don't know. You're just out there the first time you get some attention.
What happened?
You're gonna do something. Right. And then once you realize, like, oh, it's a responsibility to this.
All I got to do is be executive and have a big company behind me, right?
So
I can go out and I can find somebody that can rap any foolishness that they want. I don't want y'all to be conscious, because when you become conscious, you don't spend your money.
My job.
Can't get paid.
Exactly. And you ain't gonna spend your money and versus the shit that my other companies produce.
Well, isn't Lupe today? Lupe Fiasco?
That's an example. That's an example.
He just recently sold out too, right?
Update. What you say?
Well, what happened is he tried to go mainstream because the company felt that they wanted him to be
But he
less.
said, I wasn't gonna dump it down.
Well,
is that the last one?
But he spoke out against it, and then he turned around and had some interviews on Fox with I on his Fox network, and he called Obama a terrorist. Not only
But
terrorist.
listen to what he said, though. What he said
Not
was...
only Obama a terrorist, he called all the presidents a terrorist.
Exactly. He said, no, I'm not just saying Obama, I'm saying anybody in that position.
So that's not
it seems like...
Listen to what he said. He said, I'm not saying Obama, him, himself. I'm saying a person in the presidency of the United States, meaning from A to Z, has been a leader of terrorizing the world.
But he did this
I can't disagree with
after
because somebody called him on it.
Album, he released the album, and they felt that he sold the people out by trying to go mainstream. So he felt like this was a way to get him back into.
What he said about terrorism is right in line with what he was talking. I don't see no paradox there. He talked about.
I think he was trying to redeem himself.
He was trying to clarify his point. He said, don't try to put it out like I'm talking about Obama only. Obama's a terrorist. He said, I'll call all presidents a terrorist. I'm not saying the person himself. I'm talking about the person that's in that position as president. He's talking about that dumb it down.
He expressed the same thing.
Now, he's talking about the dumb it down. He said you won't make as many records.
Well, he just
unless you dumb it down.
Records.
No, he didn't. That's what he's saying. I'm not going to dumb it down.
He sold out for that one album.
How you think he sold out?
The latest album.
That's the dumb it down one. He said I'm not going to do that.
He did mainstream, and he had some boy from Britain on there.
I don't think he sold out. I think he's still on point with what he's talking about.
When you start going overseas, and you start putting people from overseas on your albums, they embrace hip hop totally differently than we do.
They're
are
not
totally
into
in
the
culture.
gangster. They use it for revolution. They use it for change. That's what I said. If these rappers here will understand what influence they got outside of this country, they realize that's why you got the rebellions in them other countries. They're using hip hop as they rallying call like we used it in the 60s.
But Millie Mill, I think that we had, and I'm going to be honest, I think that we have gotten out of the essence of music.
Who is we?
African American people. African born in this country.
I agree. It's a commodity now.
When I come up,
they want to make
they
money.
say
It's a commodity now.
When we talk about
it's a commodity now.
got
That's
to
my
give
point.
the people what they want.
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
I can.
Listen to what you said. You just said in the song, you said you got to give the people what they want.
And that's
ain't that what they do?
Right
they
now.
Want Lil Wayne. They want the madness.
But that's manufactured. They don't know that they're being pimped to brainwash them on that stuff.
The same hip hoppers are doing today.
They're giving them what they want. That's what I'm saying.
We want to execute them when Richard Pryor made a whole career out there.
When Public Enemy said fight the power, he took what Isley Brothers came up with and put it to this generation. The difference is, what I'm saying is, what we see as hip-hop now is being manufactured, force-fed, and being commercialized to these kids, and they don't understand the essence behind it,
and
because all the folks is not telling them, hold on, here's what's the real deal with that.
Now, I'm going to say this, Melly Mel.
Because I'm turned off now, Waka Flocka and Lil Wayne too.
There was a serious movement with hip-hop. All of a sudden, here came Louis Farrakhan with the Million Man March.
That's the 90s. Keep going.
Right? And I thought for sure all the hip hoppers and this whole was going to be that was there. Move this thing to the next level.
But what happened after that? The distraction.
15 years after the Million Man March.
Don't even go that far.
Well, that's where we at right now.
No, but I'm saying immediately after the Million Man March, the distraction came about was who called the Million Man March. What he talking about? It came to the Lily Went.
Hit the airwaves.
We started
wait.
Who called it?
Well, let's stop it right there because we're going to come back to that. He said after the Million Man March, more gangster rap hit the airwaves. We're going to be able to hit that. I'm going to take a commercial break. I want to send shouts out to New Harvest for allowing us to be up in here to have this discussion. I want to send out shouts to Oxy Water. Also check out my blog at Giami Journey, blogspot.com. And also hit Melly Mel up if you need some fresh artwork. Original flavors. One of the best artists. Old hip hop. I'm surprised he ain't got some tags up, but we too old for that. We can't run from the police like we used to.
I put my tags in the museum and the art galleries now.
Show and stuff like that. Are we back on the air? Now we left off. Brother Kojo brought up the point that right after the Million Man March, it was a flood of gangster rap. And him being a conspiracy man, he ought to know what the hell was going on there. Hold on, the crowd is going crazy. You know what the hell happened. 95, where was you at in hip hop? You know what happened. Go ahead, because you'll finish your point. You said after the Million Man March, you got to answer the phone. Hey, this Live. This is my show. You can answer the phone on my show.
Well, listen, Tim. After the Million Man March, and then
because there was a lot of rappers.
The O.J. Simpson situation was just going on.
Absolutely.
Where was we at that situation?
I think that at that point that whites felt it was a total disrespect to them and what they've done for you all these years, and all of a sudden you want to call 1 million black men to
For
march
what
on
purpose?
Washington,
Atonement, not to just tear up.
Well, hold on, but hold on. And you atone to do what? They went
But I
back
think
to the
that we did
community
wrong.
and did not do the damn
I
thing.
disagree.
And let me say
I
this, bro.
disagree.
I saw a few brothers doing things. Now I stood on that principle. There was a manifest that went out and said, okay, these are the principles that we're going to live by based on the Million Man March. And I stood on that. Man, I saw more black men go to jail. I saw more black men get caught up in child support. I saw more gangster rap. Hold on.
But was that our doing? Was that our
doing?
doing? That was to counter that wave of what could happen after Million Man March. Do you understand? Directly after Million Man March, they was in a fallout of, oh, maybe it is two Americas. Look how white people celebrate the O.J. Simpson trial, and look how black people celebrate the O.J. Simpson trial. In '95, believe me, it was a paradigm shift for me working down in Franklin County. I understand. Believe me, it was all out war. We gonna make sure
while we was
this
out
don't
there atoning, that they were sitting there in their boardroom trying to figure out how they can put their money together.
Stop. Oh, no, they already had their money together. You got it. They was plotting.
They was like, how we gonna counter
way
this?
to derail what we was doing than by media.
The
Because my constant story is this. When you look at the Bible, all you know what I'm saying, those that believe in the Bible and those that read the Bible, they talk about Satan. Satan was in charge of what? He was the most powerful angel. He was in charge of music.
There you go.
Now, check this out. Music is so influential that the head spiritual being below God was in charge of it. We need to take more control of this. We need to make sure we're going to flood the market with this gangster rap. And all I got to do is go to the ghetto and find somebody who ain't got no money.
Go back. I think you need to go back because your listeners need to really hear what you just said. You said Satan was in charge of making music.
He was in charge of making music.
There you go.
And he was a nemesis. He was the nemesis, right?
He was the nemesis of God. At that point in time, he said,
are you saying that music
is powerful?
A tool.
Is a what?
Can be used
music
as
is a weapon.
Is Satan's?
No,
it's
not
right.
As a tool.
It's
for
a
him.
tool. Music
tool
wasn't
is a tool,
his.
is a
He
tool.
was in charge
How
of
was
it.
used.
He ain't created.
Satan was in charge of music.
He was in charge of music. He's second highest.
So you saying all this music is being put out here, especially today with gangster rap,
Can be
was
used
originated
as a tool.
by Satan.
No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying that tool, like a hammer, could be used to build a house.
So
or
the
to tear down a house.
Christians would love this conversation because they're saying you're right. We're listening to the devil's music.
No, it's taken out of context.
No.
Listen to it and listen to what he's saying.
Because Satan was in charge of music.
Satan was in charge of music. Now, he was in charge of music. He didn't create music. What that shows is that music is a tool that can be used to rally the troops to fight for justice or rally the troops to fight for evil. Music is a tool that has constant in every culture. It helps the culture build or destroy.
Now, once he was kicked out of the organization,
he was still a good musician.
He was still a good musician. Obviously, he went out to make some great music.
Oh,
there you go.
So was he in charge of
No, the boardrooms.
Gangster rap?
No, the boardrooms are in charge of gangster rap, because when you embrace that side of life, when you embrace that negative side of life, of course you're going to put out stuff to keep your enemy down. We always know. I mean, let's look at it. It's easy to see if we follow the history of music, we can see where the growth was in the 70s, the growth was in the 80s.
I mean, think about it.
We can see where the descents and the falls were.
In the 70s. What was happening
It was
after the 70s?
degenerative music, man.
Disco came in to keep y'all partying and hip-hopping, to get y'all mind off what happened in the 60s, in late 60s, 68. So they started that. What happened was the youth was saying, we're not into that. So they started bongoing in the park and saying what they had to say and putting it to a little beat, okay? And they was talking about the revolution will not be televised. They was talking about niggas are scared of revolution. It took a little bit more for all of us to get into that. Just so happens those youth said, hey, we got these crumbs. Let's make our own gumbo. Let's sample JB. Let's sample James Brown. Let's put a little beat to it, and boom, go over these lyrics. And the message came out saying what? It was like Chuck D said at CNN. It was telling people what's really, don't push me, I'm close to the edge.
But hold on,
that's what the art form started out to do.
Melly, Hatim made a point here, bro.
I agree with you.
Y'all need to understand
the use of that tool.
That this is a Christian United States of
There's
America. We're not admit to it, but this is country was built on.
I agree.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to get you to hold the thought because we're running down on time. We're gonna have to go to part 3. So I hope the people that are listening, we're gonna move to part 3, and I'm about to tweet this out. Y'all need to get on. Y'all can Skype me. Y'all can do whatever y'all
raw.
need to do.
It's coming live.
It's raw.
Not
live.
Edited.
This is
off the top of the head.
Off the top of
not
the
rehearsed.
head. You know what I'm saying? So with that, we saying peace on part 2. We moving to part 3. If you want to bring us to your town so that you can have this discussion, feel free, because we need the dough.
This is the devil's music, huh?
No,
we're gonna talk about it in part 3.
We're gonna talk about it in part 3.
All right. Want to know that then? All right,
signing out. Peace. I want to say shouts out to New Harvest for allowing me to have the radio show. And New Harvest is live. We got a big crowd out here. If you're around, come around, get a fish sandwich. Yeah. People love a fish show. So you got to hide it from your significant other. Also want to send shouts out to Oxy Water, the new hot drink that's hitting the streets, Oxy Water. When you see it, pick it up. Take a sip of oxygen. It's good for your thoughts, it's good for your mind, it's good for your body, and uplifting for your spirit. And with that, I'm saying peace. I will see you on part 3 in the next 5 minutes. We're going to take a bathroom break.
I'm sitting. I'd like to welcome you to Gianni, Johnny. I'm sitting here with 2 of my brothers, Melly Mel and Brother Kojo Babio. I'm going to do a personal interview with each one of them, but we're going to have a conversation right now. We're having a conversation about what happened to hip-hop and how it influenced American culture. Y'all keep on talking, because I like it live. We like it live up in here. Right now, we're talking about what happened to hip-hop culture, and we gonna allow y'all to listen to our conversation, because I feel that these conversations are important and need to be uncensored. So I'm letting the brothers know that on my radio show and my radio station, cussing is allowed. I want you to fully express yourself and let the world know how you feel about what's going on. So
Tim, I didn't grow up on that shit. So I ain't knocking that hip-hop shit, bro. I'm just telling you, when rap came to the game, bro, I didn't grow up on that shit. I was old school for real, but at the same time, I understand that it is a vehicle of expression. So I ain't knocking hip-hop when I say, hey, I didn't grow up on that shit. Y'all grew up on that.
Because hip-hop is...
But what I'm saying is that there is a foundation where you all sampled, and the originators of the music never got credit, and today still don't get credit for originating the music, and the young boys don't get no credit to it. But at the same time, I understand it.
The old heads express. Now I will say the old heads.
This same era, the same situation is just so crystal clear with us now. Same thing happened with rock and roll. Same thing happened with jazz.
Yeah, fuck rock and roll.
Rock and roll. I'm not saying your white boys rock and roll. I want to talk about that. The term rock and roll was our term that they adopted. That's what I'm saying. And what happened? The same thing gonna happen with Eminem. He's gonna be our elder.
Oh wait, they already called him the king of hip hop. You ain't know that?
I'm saying if we weren't allowed to see Michael Jackson in 20 years, Justin Bieber or Timberlake, one of them would be like, and we'd be like, oh, who's this great stuff?
Right.
We wouldn't know who Michael Jackson is.
Right.
I'm saying the same thing that's happened to hip hop happened to jazz. Same thing happened to the blues. All those musics are reappropriated and made so whitewashed that we give it up because we like it ain't our stuff no more, and they went on to invent something else and make some more money off it and
Now,
sell it back to us.
But where's Quincy Jones when you need him? You know, when he...
Quincy Jones, wait, hold on. Quincy is still involved. I just heard an interview with him on Travis Smiley, and Quincy is still involved with the music piece. But for me, hip hop is a lot bigger than just the music aspect. It's a whole. For me, it's a cultural piece because I would not be studying anything that I'm studying as far as spirituality or the Afrocentricity if it was not for hip hop. I'm gonna say this: for me, hip hop is the physical manifestation of Sankofa. We go back and fetch it because with hip hop is using technology to be able to bring people back in tune with the old music from the past.
It took those samples. It took that James Brown beat that was already there and said, boom. It took that funk from Midwest funk, where it was Isaac Brothers, where it was all that, and brought it back to us. It was a development. I mean,
we went back and fetched it.
It's the same thing that jazz music did. Jazz music took the European harmonies and took that African beat and said, you know what? Let's make our own music. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, we had a music form.
This is the most beautiful part about hip hop, jazz, and all the stuff. We didn't plan it; it just happened.
Exactly.
Black folks sing. Well, I'm gonna put it like this: people that we don't want to vibe, we fuck shit up when we plan it. When it just when it emerges, it's a beautiful thing. Hip hop emerged, and hip hop was in a sense a blessing because think about this: you had people who lived in a fucking war zone.
They didn't have no music.
Poverty.
They didn't have no equipment.
They didn't have no equipment.
You know, well, let's take what's here, mother of invention.
Right. Necessity.
Gumbo. And they took a little bit of this, they took a little of that, and just like soul food, they mixed it together, and next thing you know, we got our own music. We can beat on this drum.
Right. The issue I have is that those who took and made music out of nothing, you know, out of the hip hop, and you look at the young boys today and they're listening to this music, it seems like there was no mentor there to educate them or more or less kind of carry them over to say, hey, listen, what you're listening to is not something of originality. It's something that we have taken and taken it to another level.
But that happens with every generation.
But somebody, when you take our music and bastardize it, and this is what I'm saying, stop
this quote here.
You know, stop, you know, pivoting. You know, the young boys today are totally confused about the essence and the direction with music and how it's supposed to feed your spirit and soul.
I agree.
They totally don't even understand the connection.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
It's your fault. It's the hip hop.
It's somebody who I'm saying it's somebody who didn't teach that to them. I'm saying somebody didn't teach that kid what his source come from. It's not the kid's fault. When something go wrong, whoever didn't teach the kid, that's whose fault.
None of the stuff. Now we got to remember during the time when hip hop came up, we was in a similar crisis that we are in now. Art was taken out the school.
All the same.
You know what I'm saying? So now the kids use what they had to make it now. It didn't become an issue until people start making money off of it.
Exactly.
Now once people figured out that you can make money from the rap aspect of hip hop, that's when shit started going south. I mean, that's when I really started noticing going south. And then, because think about the power of hip hop. When hip hop was hot, when we look at the early 80s, and it's coming up, the consciousness that was spread through hip hop, you got a whole bunch of people that got interested in African history through hip hop.
Sure, African Bambaataa and all them cats.
Yeah, right. And you got people rocking the medallions and shit, but then when they start seeing the direction that hip hop was going, I'm talking about the industry, it was a total paradigm shift, and I've seen it about 1989.
And I agree. And I'm saying, you know, not to specifically pinpoint NWA, but I'm using that as a paradigm shift. When that West Coast rap came in, gang violence, guns, and drugs came into hip hop, where that came more glamorized than Public Enemy, than X-Clan. And that shift has still continued to this day. Now just materially.
You know what? Back when hip hop, you know how Tim and Melly, when hip hop came on the scene, I think back then y'all understood that you all had a commitment to give something back to the community. You all understood that it was bigger than you all with the music. It was a vehicle to change and to mobilize people. Public Enemy. But now today's rapper feel like they have no
no responsibility to come and give back to the community.
But I said that's because they haven't been taught that.
I never said that. You get it. It was a bad pass, baby.
Right.
When you handed the baton on,
I'm saying
he dropped it. You didn't hand it to him. Right. It wasn't pass. You got to understand. Once the industry got involved,
that cuts you out.
That cuts.
We don't care if you want $1 million, do this.
Right. I ain't gonna listen to you. I don't listen to you no more because now I got money. You ain't got money, so more people know my name than you.
Let's give me an analogy. Your son, right? You're gonna make sure that he has a foundation.
He's gonna have a foundation.
He will make sure that he has moral foundation. You're gonna make sure that he has understand responsibility and that he has a commitment back to the community. Now, you, his father, is going to teach him those things, right? Even in music, when I listen to jazz music, I'm learning lessons because I hear the essence of it. When I listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, when they say, we are people of the mighty, mighty people of the sun, in our heart lies all the answers to the truth you run from, I'm hearing lessons.
Right.
When I listen to the music of old, these are lessons. And I'm learning it from the music and then maybe from individuals who are the fathers in the community. So my point is that the message that came out of hip-hop became so construed and so mixed up and it became so confused that you all bought into it. And y'all did nothing to say, ho, stop this.
No, y'all didn't slow it down.
Wait, listen, y'all didn't do nothing to stop that shit. Y'all saw that shit was going down.
When you were in the ship, you don't see
that.
And what happened? No, you don't see that. Hear me out first. What I'm saying is, the generation that was before hip-hop didn't tell them, this is what y'all gonna run into. We ran into the same thing with blues. We ran into the same thing with jazz. Because what happens, every generation goes through this. That's the young kids' music. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. And the disconnect came there. So no one was there to teach them. So these kids took these scraps of what the old people had and made their own stuff with it. And just so happens, others realized, here we go again, they invented something new, let's exploit it.
But listen,
and nobody told us we was going to be exploited. These kids don't know about children's circuits. These kids don't know about children's circuits.
When he see his son going down the wrong road, he going to grab him and say, oh, son, you can't go. That's the point. Understand my point? Because he understands he's got a responsibility. That's his son.
That's my point.
But some people, my son got 10 other friends that don't have me.
Exactly.
Now, they might respect me, but now they'll grab something and they're going to go their direction. So you got to understand, when hip-hop was born, we didn't realize the gift that we had. We didn't realize that it could change the world. And as it started doing this, now I don't have to go to the architects of this thing no more. I just go to the street because right now, any kid can pick up the mic and rap, and I need you to rap in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we got these manufactured rappers coming out because if you start listening to them, they sound the same. But when you look at the original roots of hip-hop was all about developing yourself in the community as an individual. I didn't strive to dress like anybody else. I strive to have my own style, my own. Not even though they using the word, they saying they swagger, but what they don't understand, that swagger is just like everybody else's swagger. Back in the day,
originality.
It's not original.
It's not.
We're manufactured. It's manufactured now.
It's mass produced.
That's a better word. It's mass produced, and it's not produced by the masses. It's produced for the masses. Hip hop used to be produced by the masses. Now, it's a whole different mind state that go with that, and when you lose control of it, it's a terrible thing. Now, what I'm saying is, what we have to be able to do as elders, because what happened was, like for example, we had a small rap crew back in the day when I was young. I can't remember the name. It's been a long time, but our parents didn't support that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got tired. We know it.
We don't want to hear.
They weren't putting no money behind us to do it. Now, if I was a white kid in suburbia riding a bike, spinning and shit, I'm quite sure I would have had a parent that would have been like, hey, we might be able to make something out of this. But black folks didn't do that. We don't support our kids' creativity. It's like, that's against the grain. No, you shouldn't be doing that. Boy, stop spinning on your head. Another story. I used to break dance. Listen, I mean, this. My grandfather told me, period. I'm not in trouble. I'm an A student. I'm on my way to college. I love breakdancing. I love rapping. I love everything that hip hop was bringing. I couldn't draw, so I left the graffiti shit alone. But I loved the philosophy and the knowledge that I was getting by just participating in this. I go to my grandfather's house. I'm living in my grandfather's house. I got on my jogging suit. I'm about to go to breaking practice. He said, son, you doing real good, but perhaps if you stop spinning on your head, maybe I'll help you get a car. What? I mean, I'm on honor roll. I'm playing football. I'm breakdancing. I'm staying out of trouble. I'm not in trouble. Why do I have to stop spinning on my head so I get a motherfucking car?
So Hatem, what I'm trying to understand is that, you know, and I'm trying to compare this to what's happening with today's kids.
Now that's a whole nother beast. We go into that
because you know it's like when when you was a kid and your grandfather looked at you listening to that crazy music spinning on your head, he didn't get it. It's like today when I'm listening to some of the music today with these kids, and every kid has got his cell phone blasting this music, bro. They can be talking about bitches. They can be talking. It ain't saying shit. It's just bullshit coming out of this phone. And I ain't trying to knock the bullshit that this kid is listening to. But I tell you, bullshit in is bullshit out. So what I'm saying is that, but when hip hop came about, when your granddaddy was looking at it, he didn't see all the elements. Even though he saw you was spinning on your head, he didn't see the other 8 elements that was essential to what hip hop was all about. Right, it was still new to him. No, it was still new to us. So if you talking to, it was new to y'all. So what about? How do you translate that to today's kids?
All he got to do is say,
I'm talking about today's kids.
Right, I'm saying part of it is, it's like you use what was there before. You say, Grandpa, remember when y'all came out?
I'm talking about today's kids.
Grandpa, remember when y'all was listening to jazz?
I'm a grandpa now.
You see what I'm saying? and a lot of people didn't get that. You see what I'm saying? Y'all listen to that race music. Y'all listen to this music. And a lot of, or those teenage music. Okay, what happened was somebody outside of us realized what we was producing with the Motown sound, what we was producing with Stax, okay? And what happened was they took that music and said, let's give it to these kids over in England, and the Beatles came back over here, and the Rolling Stones, and all of a sudden, it's acceptable now that our white kids counterparts. I'm saying the same thing happened with us as saying, okay, ain't nobody supporting us in our community. The kids spinning on their head, they jump music, they
ain't spinning on their head today, Melly.
Okay, because what happens is that now we don't control it anymore. It's being commercialized to us. Certain people are saying, this is what's hip hop to y'all. Because older people is not telling these kids this is what hip hop supposed to be. It's art. It's art. Right. It's art. Let's go. Right. It's art form. Art is supposed to release you. It's supposed to uplift you. And I'm saying, I'm using this.
No, you talking, man. You see, we're not having a conversation here, man.
What I'm saying is art. Hip hop is an art form. I'm saying what happens is because it's not being supported by our equals peers. What happens is they're being directed what to do with it. Right. And they're doing the wrong things with it. So they're talking about material.
It's just about
bees and homes. They're talking about materialism. Right. Now, if the older generation say, you know what, I just don't like it.
So you said the Jews own?
Yeah.
You say that then, no?
I ain't got no problem with saying. I ain't got no problem with saying Caucasian Jews own the industry of entertainment and sports. No question.
And they selling business. They selling what works. But because we're not stepping up and taking our responsibility. For example, one of the things I dig about KRS-One and with a lot of older hip hoppers, they try to bring back the culture. Like, for example, when you look at the term hip hop, they basically broke down what hip hop means, and it's one distinguishing point in hip hop. You got 2 different types of hip hop. You got hip hop with a capital H, 2 capital H's, capital H on the hip, capital H on the hop. That's the consciousness. Now, consciousness does not mean that you do not flow sometime into the negative, because there's a balance.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
We understand.
Then there's you'll notice some people write hip hop, small h.
Right.
That's what we are experiencing right now.
Exactly.
That's the business of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? We haven't embraced the fact that hip hop is an offshoot of our culture. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as saying that hip hop is the next level of our culture. As far as African people, as far as people in poverty, is the next level, because it's a way of expressing ourselves, it's a way we talk, it's the way that we dress, it's a way that we communicate, it's everything that is a culture, and we're not using it.
Tim, Gucci Mane and Lil Wayne is not hip hop.
They are, no, they are, no, I disagree. They are hip hop, small h, small h. You see what I'm saying? They are hip hop.
But then when they say that even your first name starts with a capital A, that's to show respect, right? When it's in a lowercase level,
no respect.
And that's
so if you ain't giving the respect, it's not gonna give you respect back. When we embrace hip hop for what it is, KRS-One put it best. He say, hip is what hip represents the knowledge. When you hip to something, that means you know about it. Right. Hop is the movement. Sure. You know what I'm saying? And what we ain't doing is, as adults, exactly. We don't got those capitals A. We're not hip to it. I understand what you're saying, Lil Wayne. I hear you. I hear the cleverness in your rhyme. I hear the skill. But now I need to plug you back into the tradition of understanding that the artist is the vanguard of revolution. The artist is the vanguard of change. The artist is the vanguard of the growth. Now, you have a daughter. Do you want your daughter to grow up in the shit that is coming out right now? Obviously he does. No. Well, see, now I'm telling you this right now. I might be wrong, but I'm quite sure that in some form or fashion he has his children filtered away from this bullshit.
Master P a perfect example. Master P
Master P raised his son up in this shit.
No, Master P my son is Romeo. Right. And his daughter sings too. He's like, I'm gonna have them doing other stuff. They're growing up in nice neighborhoods with nice schools and getting paid. They ain't making their money off hip hop.
Will Smith,
perfect example. Will Smith was never right. He got his son doing
big ages.
Now I will say this. I'm gonna say the concept.
Will Smith. I'm
gonna say this. I'm gonna say yes, because this is what I'm saying. It's a constant. See, because hip hop, we categorize it just with the music. When we look at the attitude, the style, the way of doing business, the way you talk, you know what I'm saying, the way you live your life, I would have to say Will Smith. Hell yeah. He's a kids into it. He's a rock and roller. But hold on. When you look at the roots of rock and roll, as hard as you want to take it, and as far as you want to take it, that's us.
That's what rock and roll was. Rock and roll was a slang term.
You know what I'm saying? And the issue came for us was because the generations before us didn't embrace what we had. At least saying, baby, you good. I mean that's clever.
Look at we got to look at Ray Charles. What was Ray Charles? What was their beef with Ray Charles? Ray Charles like gospel music, and you bastardize it. You making it too sexy. You see what I'm saying? Stevie Wonder, dude, come on. He couldn't get his record produced at first. That sound, that music, every generation, one or two generations before them don't see it immediately because they stuck on the culture that was given to them. What people brought down them. So they like, that's something new. You're gonna get us in trouble. Be quiet, boy. Don't say that. Master or whoever we working for don't like that. So they try to quiet it down. No, we didn't do it your way and it ain't working for us. So we coming up with our new way. This is our new gumbo. Okay? This is the soul food we making. This is the scraps we gave. The problem is they're not being directed right. They got the vehicle, they're just not pointing in the right way.
Who fault is that, man?
The people who's not teaching them. That's what I'm saying. It's always the older generation. No, when I say us, when I say us, I don't mean me personally. I'm saying always the generation before them. It's always the generation. The kid got to do what he's taught. But hold on, what he's talking. Hold on, we're gonna get taught by his people. We're gonna get taught by our side. This is a high conversation, and this is what Gianni Talks is about. Putting the real shit out there so that people can have other discussions. You can check out my blog. You're gonna check us out on Facebook. We're gonna take a couple minute break. But first off, I want to shout out some of my sponsors. I'm sitting up in the illustrious, beautiful spot called New Harvest Cafe. They're sponsored by Kojo Ababio. I also want to send shouts out to Oxy Water for sponsoring the show. Drink some Oxy Water, take a sip of oxygen, and we will be back because I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because this is hot. So we're gonna tune out right now. You're gonna hear a commercial, and then you have to go to part 2. So with that, Brother Hatim is saying peace. Next thing you're gonna hear is gonna be a damn commercial, and we moving on. All right. So here we go. Peace.
This podcast is supported by Oasis, a Paychex company. Oasis helps small and medium-sized businesses to simplify back-office complexities like payroll, benefits, HR, and compliance. With Oasis, you can continue to run your business fearlessly. Learn more at oasisadvantage.com/podcast.
This brother Hatim, I'd like to welcome you to Gianni Talks. I'm talking to another nation builder about his journey and his path to the level of success that he has in his life at this point in time. I'm working with a brother by the name of Will Campbell. I had the pleasure of knowing him between 6 and 4 years, the last 6 or 4 years. He served as a summer nation builder, and I want to ask him about his journey. All right. In the journey, we cover 3 major parts of his journey: the separation, your initiation, and your reintroduction. So the first question we want to know on the Gianni journey, Will, first, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are in this journey in your life right now.
Well, I guess real quickly, born in Michigan, raised in Michigan and Wisconsin. I was a jerk. I'm 27 right now, so I was a jerk pretty much half of my life. The second half of my life has been trying to make up for that big jerk. But currently, I work for the State Department in the Foreign Service, learning to speak Mandarin Chinese, and I'll be heading over to China soon. So, to come from being a jerk to representing this country, it's quite a journey, if I may say.
Give me some of that Mandarin.
你好，我是甘伟我叫甘伟平，今年12月我要去成都工作2年。
I know what you said, but that was hot. But hey, check this out. Now, separation, because you mentioned that at the early part of your life, you was what you would consider a jerk. What happened in your life that separated you from that aspect of your life that was jerk, that was messed up? What was the separation for you when you decided that you need to become your own person?
Well, certainly the number one catalyst was I found out I was going to have a child. That didn't stop me altogether from being a jerk, because I was actually locked up when she was born. But it gave me the impetus to really say I need to do something different. Before I've been telling this story recently, and before I had her, I used to have constant visions of seeing my own death. A lot like Tupac would say, a lot like Biggie would say, ready to die. I really just didn't care. And I actually had a real vivid vision all the time about how I would go about dying, exactly the way in which I was going to die. And I mean, the power of vision. Mm-hmm. I was just really writing my own future. But the day I found out that I was going to be a father, I stopped having that vision. I never had that vision again in my life.
So you saying it was the journey of fatherhood that in a sense saved you, the idea that you was going to become a father that made you mature and get to the point to where you was separated yourself from those past activities. Now, what would you consider your initiation, your trial by fire, and what were some of the secrets that you learned that helped motivate and move you to a point of where you are in your life right now?
Well, I say certainly my first initiation was going through boot camp. I was locked up when she was born, and in order to get out early, I went through a boot camp, and that was really, I think, my first initiation into getting the tools to change my life, but also to be a leader in my community. But beyond that, I think my second real transformation happened when I started college, started studying, started reading, and then I got introduced to the Simba Nation. My first year in college. My life has never been the same, man. My life has really never been the same. I mean, it's just my level of consciousness before I came to the first Simba camp that I was at in 2004 and after was just like it can't be compared, you know, and the level of commitment that instilled within me to really help brothers who were going through some of the same things that I was going through and feeling some of the same things that I was feeling. You know, it really was maximized by coming and joining the Simba Nation, you know, and being allowed to join in the Simba Nation. Oftentimes, I try and speak with young brothers who are at that same age because I hear a lot of myself in what they were saying. You know, a lot of the I just don't care, I don't give a fuck. Excuse me, I don't know if it's a language.
That's cool.
You know, but it's just you know, I see and I hear me all in everything that they're saying and that they're doing, and it's, you know, it's moving to know that I can connect with them on that level.
Last part, because I know you gotta go. He on his way. I don't know if it's to China or wherever he's going right now, but he on his way out. Reintroduction, because people get used to us the way we were.
Mm-hmm.
How did you reintroduce yourself, recreate yourself? How were you able to present this new you to a world that was used to this jerk as you described yourself in the early years? How did you let your light shine and not be dimmed by what other people expected you to be?
Well, I think that's a good question. I think the number one thing that I had to do actually is I lost a lot of so-called friends, you know, and in that process of rebirth and becoming a new person, or at least exhibiting new behaviors, was a real lonely process for me. It was a real lonely process for me. You know, I had my family, I had maybe one or two mentors, and that was it. You know, I can't really say I had many friends my age, especially in the early part of it. But, you know, moving forward from that, it was really just about doing what I know is right, you know, and not really being concerned with what other people were saying, what other people were thinking, you know, what other people remembered about me. I couldn't control that, you know. I had done what I had done. The blood was on the hands, so-called, you know, and I just had to move on. And I couldn't help it if other people couldn't move on from where I was. You know, if they wanted to remember me as the jerk me, then that's fine by me. You know, they can remember me as a jerk all they want. I'm gonna still continue to try and love them, and I'm gonna still continue to try and raise my daughter. You know, and be the best man that I can be in this society now. You know, raise these young brothers here that we have at Simba, and, you know, raise the young brothers that are back there in our communities. You know, I can't really say that I had a specific plan on, I'm gonna, you know, present a new me to the world. You know, I just went out there and I lived what I thought was righteousness.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on the journey. We'd like to thank those people that's out there listening. And this is Brother Hatim. We give him the peace out to Brother Will because he's on his way. He only was able to stay with us for a couple of days, but we enjoyed it. And with that, we say peace.
Peace.
Get out of the old and get into the new at Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan. When you drive one of our vehicles, you'll discover the thrill that only comes from driving a Dutro vehicle. Why buy at Dutro's Auto? We offer a great selection, quality reputation, and competitive pricing. And our customer satisfaction is second to none. Discover the thrill of driving a Dutro vehicle today. Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan in Zanesville, Muskingum County's largest volume dealer. You will pay less and get more at Dutro.
Community bank, invest in the community. It's not enough just to make loans in the community.
Lovely thing about the community bank is they know what you're kind of going through.
We use every facet, from truck loans to equipment loans. They feel like a part of my team.
Community bank has been an important part of our growth and success.
The community bank is trying to grow the community. No matter what happens, they'll always be my first call.
All experiences are positive. I mean, I've never had a bad experience with community bank.
Are you going to be asking me those questions?
Right.
Oh.
Right. But here we go. Peace. Excuse me, my voice. I lost my voice. I'd like to welcome you to GNJ Talks, and I'm going to be speaking with Miss Maria. She's a visitor from Iwalu by way of Rwanda. And she's given me the privilege of interviewing her on GNJ Talks. So first off, before we even get into the discussion about her journey as far as separation, initiation, and reintroduction, I want her, if she would, take a little bit of time to tell us about herself.
Good. Okay. My name is Maria, like you mentioned, and I am from Rwanda, and I grew up in Rwanda. I was born in Tanzania, and I came to the United States in 2009 to go to school in Virginia. And this summer I'm working at Camp Iwalu, and I have had the privilege to come to visit Simba Circle for a few days.
Okay. How did you end up coming to school to America? How did you end up coming to America? Because from what I understood, you met one of the elders that I interviewed at first before you came over here. Can you give us a little bit about your backstory as far as getting here?
Yeah. Yes. I went to school in Uganda, and when I finished high school, I wanted to go to university, and I realized that I had passion for women's issues, and so and I thought that the best place I could get education was coming to the United States. And so I worked on getting the visa and all the things that I needed to come, and that's how it happened. But going back on how I met Gerald, I worked with Gerald in Rwanda and Kenya. He was very involved with the Lutheran Church in Rwanda before he retired from the ELCA, and I think, I could be wrong, but this is what I saw. He was very determined to see that the youth in Rwanda, in the Lutheran Church, are empowered and have a voice. And so he organized a youth peace conference in 2008, which was held in Kigali, and it brought different denominations, youth from different denominations, and we talked about peace and reconciliation, which is a big topic in Rwanda right now. And we also talked about leadership and starting businesses for young people. It was a very enriching conference for young people. And so that's how I met Gerald, and that's how I keep coming.
Okay, cool. All right, so now let's get on your journey. Now, I'm going to start with the separation phase as far as your personal life. And it don't have to be, because we go through these phases over and over again in our life. My question to you is, what point in your life did you find it necessary to separate yourself from what you knew and get involved with new things so that you can start changing your life, so that you can move to a different level of success on your journey, or at least a different path in your journey? If you don't mind sharing one of those instances with us, we'd greatly appreciate it.
That's a very good question. I don't think anyone has asked me that question before. I think it was in 2007 when I decided to take a year off from school, and I wanted to get some work experience. And what's work experience for high school? I don't know. But during that time, I got a chance to work with different organizations. One of them is She Sustainable Health Enterprise, and I got to work with women in rural areas, and I felt very passionate about the issues that women were going through, and children too. Just going at the grassroots level and seeing what people go through. I guess that was like a turning point for me. And also, I got to work with other few small organizations that wanted me to come, or people who said, come observe this. And that just changed me and made me feel like there's something for me out there that I can do. And it gave me hope and made me feel like that I can make a change. It doesn't have to be big, but...
So you separated yourself from schooling for a while so that you could have a different experience. And was that step scary for you? I mean, like, what were some of the challenges in making that separation? You know what I mean? Because, like, many times when we have to make a change, it's kind of scary because we're doing something, in a sense, nobody else may have ever done before. So how did you drum up the courage to take that step?
I was still deciding on what I wanted to do in the future, and I could not decide. You know, when at that age you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I kind of felt overwhelmed by all the things I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor, and I wanted to be a journalist, and then I didn't really have a passion for them, so I went out there and ready to try different things and things that people throw at me, and I was willing to try that and see where I really had a passion. And I found passion in working with people at the grassroots level and seeing them change, seeing that transformation from the grassroots level, and seeing how the leaders get involved and how the government gets involved. And so that's...
Now, this brings us to another part of the journey that I haven't had the opportunity to cover with anybody else. But this is a question I have to ask you because being so young, did you have a mentor? Did a mentor come in your life at this point in time that will give you guidance? Because that's an important part of the journey, even though I have been kind of skipping over that in the other interviews. If you had a mentor, could you tell us who it was, and how did they encourage you? How did they challenge you to do something different?
I have had so many mentors in my life, but I want to say my parents. My parents have been my mentors. My dad does community development, and I have seen so many examples from him, and I admire what he does. He works with people in rural areas to try to find a common ground and come together and work together, and that kind of inspired me. But also my mom always threw ideas, and she's like, how about trying this? And I'll be like, not sure, but then I will try it, and then she'll encourage me and all the steps of the way. But also I have a very good friend, Gaylord. He has been a mentor to me, and he advises me and gives me ideas and tells me to try things. And a few pastor friends in California, Pastor Frank, and so I've had very many good mentors who have been there for me.
Okay, next phase of the interview, we're going to talk about your initiation. A harsh time, a struggle that you went through when you made this transition in your life. Can you tell us in a sense, maybe what it was, and how did you overcome it?
My struggle. Could you? I'm not sure what you mean.
In every journey,
Right.
we go through a part of, like, for example, when you separated and you stop going to school. For many families, school is very important.
Yeah.
And when you do that, some people get disappointed.
Yeah.
Some people might not want to deal with you in the same way. And when I'm talking about initiation, it's like any challenges that may have popped up. You know what I'm saying? That kind of hinder you from being on the path that you had chosen for yourself. Do you know? Did you run into any? And how did you overcome them?
The times when I got very worried and I'm like, what do people think of me that I got out of school? And we live in a community where people just speculate things, and that got me worried because people would be like, what's wrong with her? Why is she at home? Why is she back now? Why isn't she in school? And for some time that bothered me a lot. But then I decided that was for me. This is what made me happy, and it wasn't going to take forever. I knew that I was going to go back. And so knowing that I wasn't doing it for anyone else, it was for me, just finding my path and not doing it for anyone else gave me hope, and it brought me back.
So focusing on your path rather than what other people thought about what path you should be taking is, in a sense, what got you through some of the hard times, some of the struggles of your of that path. Now the last part is this: often when we change, like when you stopped going to school and you decided you was going to do something different with your life, the question I have is, how did you reintroduce this new you? Because you were no longer the same person, I assume, that stopped going to school. Like when you decided to come to America or to pursue, to get back in school, how did you reintroduce this new person to all these people that was used to the old Maria? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because sometimes it can be uncomfortable. How were you able to let your new light shine?
I felt mature when I went back. I feel like I matured when I was really young, but there were other things that I feel like I was sheltered from seeing, and so having that experience opened my eyes beyond to the things that I was seeing, and I feel like I wanted to be aware of things that are happening around me, and I got more deep in issues that like environmental issues and issues that violence against women and gender empowerment and gender equality and things like that. So I felt like when I came back I was a new person, yes, and my friends could tell that I was new because of how passionate I was about even small things that I saw that I thought that were inappropriate, and before I could just laugh at it or say, "Oh, you're silly," things like that.
So you came back with a sense of purpose, and your work is what kind of let people know that the old Marie, in a sense, was gone. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for the interview. And I'm going to go ahead and let you address the nation. The noise you heard in the background was mealtime in the Simba Nation. And I'd like to thank y'all for listening. I'd like to thank Miss Maria for sharing her time and her story with me, her journey, at least one part of her journey. And with that, I say peace.
Thank you.
Get out of the old and get into the new at Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan. When you drive one of our vehicles, you'll discover the thrill that only comes from driving a Dutro vehicle. Why buy at Dutro's Auto? We offer a great selection, quality reputation, and competitive pricing, and our customer satisfaction is second to none. Discover the thrill of driving a Dutro vehicle today. Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan in Zanesville, Muskingum County's largest volume dealer. You will pay less and get more at Dutro.
Peace. This is Brother Hot Tim. I'd like to welcome you to Geometry Talks again, and I got a very special guest for y'all today. I wish I could do it live, but my computer crashed, and that's life. So today I'm sitting here with an old friend by the name of Brother J. Many of y'all may know him from his X-Clan fame. So I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself wholly, and we're gonna get straight into this Geometry Talk so we could talk about a little bit about success, and we get some lessons from this brother. So if you would tell us a little bit about yourself.
One love. This is Brother J X Clan, giving love and respect, man. Brother Tim, it's good to see you, man. And from the days of the Black Watch to the days of the future, man, the movement and struggle continues. Hopefully, we can obtain freedom, justice, and equality, man. And X Clan is known for conscious lyrics. Activism, and building with our eldership and connecting that to the generations of the day. So that's what we on, and that's what this building is about. I'm honored to be here.
Cool. Check this out. I always wanted to ask you this. Grand Verbalizer, what time is it? I got to say it.
Funky lesson come, the sundial speaks.
Grand Verbalizer, what time is it?
My science is deep, my blackness is deep.
How deep? See, hey, I'm sitting up here, you don't know. Look, that music, along with hip hop, but that music in particular helped jump my growth incredibly, man. So I wanted to thank you for that. I really wanted to thank you for taking the time, putting down those lyrics, and really trying to save hip hop at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember the summer when it changed. For me it was 1989. One summer, everybody was walking around with the medallions and the canes, and by the end of that summer, people was going back to Jerry curls and talking about selling dope. It was crazy. But hey, look, since I got you here, tell me, what do you think happened with hip hop, bro? I mean, with the state of hip hop and well, because you were literally on the inside when all the changes started happening. What did you notice that was happening?
In truth and opinion, man, I think it was innocent at one time. You know what I'm saying? We used to do this for the fun and the love of it. We should do it for what the expression was truly about. If you were from a hood, you express from where you're from. If you're from a movement, you express what you're coming from. And the consumer had an opportunity to come and pick whatever ice cream flavor they wanted. You know what I'm saying? If you want vanilla, vanilla ice, you got that. You want some hammer, you got that. It was all ice cream. It wasn't separated. Now where everybody want to be special. I'm not ice cream no more. I'm apples now, and I'm orange, and I'm this kind of, I'm kind of this and that. Everybody's trying to be so different, but forgetting about the essence of the hip hop as a culture. You feel me? So when the culture wasn't important, the jingles became more important than the bars itself. We used to respect hip-hop for the writer. You know what I'm saying? We used to go and listen, man, this dude can rhyme, man, 16 bars, 32 bars, busting. Now we want to know if the hook is strong enough, if it's going to play on the radio, or if it's going to get everybody around the way to sing it, because we don't have an attention span anymore. You know what I'm saying? I match what's going on in hip-hop, and I compare it to life. Everything is dumbed down on our attention span. Everything is flash in the pan, super quick. Nobody takes time to sit down and read anymore. You go and try to put material out. People say, well, you got to have more pictures in your book or people are going to lose focus. You know what I'm saying? But, y'all don't say that about materials that are effective in your world. Y'all learn from the original text and manuals, but you got us dumbed out like we're kids reading books like comic books now. You know what I'm saying? And we can't absorb information. So same thing with music. Hip-hop lost that respect for content, and it became more of an underground taste. Now, every time you say you conscious or you're a lyricist or you're a spoken word or a poet, you automatically are judged underground like you're not the hype. So now it's $1 over the talent, where it used to be the talent used to get you the spotlight. That's what changed. Everybody think it was a Jiggy or a Thug thing or whatever. I reminded guards yesterday when 5% first came out, that was our first taste of what thug life was, because 5% were carrying the map in the streets. That's where it was born at. You know what I'm saying? They lost focus and got a little bit more gangster with it than math. But all your first rappers like Kane and even Jay-Z when he was down with Jazz and stuff like these dudes were going down to the Tabernacle in Brownsville and shit, you know, and going and building. But when they came to rap, everybody liked poppy, you know, jazzy, snazzy thing, and it was hard to put the math in 16 bars. How do you take ancestry and squeeze it into 16 bars? It's difficult. It's a gift to do that. You know what I'm saying? So there are not too many people that can successfully do that and still have you dancing or entertain. So it's not something that you want to market on a regular. If you're a label, like, damn, there's only 10 of those people that could really get down and do that, and I really can't push that to the club.
Right.
Because while I'm drinking, I don't want to hear how I should be this and how I should be that. They misjudged us. So no matter how dope we could ever be, to say, well, man, all my lyrics ain't about free the people and this and this and that. I said, there's ride on my stuff. There's content. There's Brooklyn in my swag. You can't measure me like my stuff is square, homeboy. You make conscious living square because y'all live up in a corporate building. You don't live my style. Look how we sitting here as family, man. Sitting in the building. You know what I'm saying? This is natural living. This is what's in my lyrics from day one. You've been in my movement. You've been around my people. It's always been.
Right.
It's a shame that you gotta, when you get around your folks and you gotta be like, man, we conscious, man, we have fun too. You feel like a white person, like,
right. We have black, right. I got unconscious friends.
I defend the neighborhood. Why would I defend something I'm not part of? I don't have to prove to nobody that I'm hood. What, I gotta throw up signs and shit? I'm a soldier. You know what I'm saying? Any of that stuff that's out here now is a shaving of where I learned from. You know what I'm saying? Because we lose a lot of the power that we've had in our neighborhoods when elders pass, brothers get locked up. You know what I'm saying? We lose power. So, you know, our power is not what it was. So a lot of that conditioning that we would get by stopping by different elders throughout the week and, you know, different adults, man, that you have peership that you can build with, a lot of that energy changes. That's why the music got weak. Because we're not there to defend it as a power anymore.
Right.
We're not gonna let no little skinny pants dude come up and control your teenager's train of thought. Are we seriously like forming battles and revolutions against skinny rappers talking about, yo, I'm bad on this? It ain't them. It's the program directors. It's about y'all spilling adult content into the street, where that used to be my time as an adult. When I want to go get a drink on, I want to hear some, you know, talk shit music or whatever, that's my time. My son or my daughter should not be singing that with me at the breakfast table.
I agree.
And their iPhone.
Right.
That's off limits to you. When I listen to a Richard Pryor tape back in the days, I get caught, you know that tape was pop, homie.
Right.
It wasn't even a question. You were sneaking, you got caught, this is not for you.
Right.
It wasn't like I go out and try to get a mixtape on the street or go download it and put it in the back of my iPod somewhere. The kids got too much places to hide, and we try to respect their space as parents to say, I trust you to carry on my teachings and respect me. But you give them too much places to hide. We've lost that flavor in hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So back to what we were talking about, where it transformed. The transforming was now technology blending in and giving more privilege, where we used to spoon feed. We are paid dues type of generation with hip-hop in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It was like, pay your dues, man, and you get into whatever kind of clique you were in, or into whatever rhyme section. Or that dude right there is dope. That's like one of the top 5. Everybody was categorizing you. Now that they feel they know the system, you got to pay your way for certain marketing. So if you got a crew of 10 niggas who got 10 G's apiece, you can go pay for some BET.
Right.
You know, rotation. You know what I'm saying? In your section or your of Ohio or Milwaukee, you got to find out how to get your video section tuned in. You know, like you do commercials. It's paying for airtime. Everything is pay now. Before it was, yo man, you the hood champion. Everybody's talking about you blowing up the clubs. I think we can move some units together. Now they don't even know what moves. It's a new age, so no one's telling a conscious writer, you got to write gangster shit also to get money. That the whole era, if it says new age, play the game. Don't buck it. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, the new world order and all that, that's distraction. That means everybody thinking is fresh for something new right now.
Right.
You ain't got no pressure. that's the changing of an age. When everybody's agreeable on that level, things change.
Right.
Agreeable and disagreeable energy. You write books like this.
Right.
So you know what I'm building on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when everybody's energy agreeable, saying, yo, man, this is the way we're going to put hip-hop. We don't want to hear no more of this. Or this is going to be slotted from 9 to 2 like it used to be back in the days where you can hear that.
Right.
So if your kid is up past 9 and you ain't got no discipline on your seed and they're doing that, then that's your fucking fault. But when you come home from school, I'm not going to be lick it, suck it when I'm coming home. And I want to hear the radio when I go pick up my seed. I want to hear what's going on. I want to bop in the car, but I want to hear something respectful.
I had that same problem, man, because I came turn on the station here because of that very issue. My son get mad. I listen to a lot of NPR. I like NPR, but I want to hear some music sometimes. And when I turn on the music, I can't really listen to it with him because, like you said, it's inappropriate. Now, you told us a little bit about the formation of X-Clan last night before we get into the other part of my interview, because this is hot. Could you tell us how X-Clan came together and the relationship to Black Watch?
Well, long story being short, the elders of Black Watch, the founder, Lumumba Carson, being son of Sonny Carson, as a black nationalist in New York, these were brothers who protected our streets at a time frame. They gathered councils of people together to make sure that the streets on our avenue were named by people who inspire us. So if it was Marcy Ave, it would be Marcus Garvey Ave, and if it was Fulton Street, it would be Harriet Tubman, whatever. I mean, I'm not being accurate in what I'm saying, but it actually are streets that we have named. So, but anyway, bringing that juice into hip-hop, standing up for a lot of black promoters that were getting gypped by people who own shops because they didn't know the power of hip-hop. You didn't know if you were going to have 50 people or 500 people when hip-hop was young.
Right.
So promoters would underpay the value of hip-hop. So I know Lumumba for trying to stand up for cats like that. Like, man, get your dollar, stop being whipped by these landowners, because if you don't set the medium right now, you always going to get duped. You have 1,000 people in the place and you getting paid like it's a small talent show for 100 people. You know what I'm saying? And X-Clan formed with that knowledge of the labels, and then me and Shav being, young producers. I was a young MC and a DJ, and my DJ, Sugar Shav, God bless him, and God bless Professor as well. Shav was one of the best DJs I'd been around from high school. We grew up together, so we came as the X-Clan to the Black Watch movement, and we took the founder of Black Watch and one of the first managers of one of the biggest hip-hop clubs. These brothers were our mentors, Brother Architect and Brother PX. We brought them into our crew. Otherwise, they would have been known as studio manager and artist management. They would have been a management team for us if they weren't our brothers.
Right.
So we incorporated everything into one place where we were soldiers in arms and business people at the same time. And that was rare. And it wasn't like, yo, man, sign the paper here, you are this, you are that. We had contracts with our labels. And then we had agreements as a production company with them. But it showed how business and movement could work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that taking on the movement on top of that agreement is where it stretched that relationship, because it's like if you meet somebody, say you meet a young lady that you like, and you say, yo, you have a baby? Come on, bring the baby. We won now. It may not be my son or my daughter, but I'll take you in. And then she bring her niece and her nephew.
Right.
And another one, and it's like, I love you.
Because y'all was taking care of a lot of people, wasn't you?
We're taking care of a lot of people, my lord. You know what I'm saying?
I know for a fact. I know how it is, bro.
And it wasn't like Hammer Time where we had 200 people on stage or anything, but we had a lot of people on these buses and traveling, and people always expected things to go right, but when you don't plan for that, it stretches the resources a little bit. I mean, we could have been a lot more successful without taking on a lot of the nurturing time that we gave these people, bringing them from different towns and stuff like that. It's a real strain on resources, and as you get older, you look back and say, damn, man, what happened to the money? Who tripped it up? Who did this? Whatever. You always want to find a problem. you know, when I looked at all the Marcus Garvey pictures back in the days, you know, when they start talking about how he was tripping money and all this other thing, and I'm saying in my head, you know, that brother got a movement. And everybody ain't working. If the plan was working with small businesses to connect to African trade, then there'd be a lot of money around.
Right.
But if you're just depending on what we making here, man, y'all really stretching a pretty penny somewhere, because there's a lot of people at them parades and a lot of people being loyal. And I had to think about it in a 1990, 2000 format of where we have X-Clan right now. I understand that, brother. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I have to put that out there because people always wonder why y'all didn't blow up, y'all were the shit, and y'all were this and that. And I'm saying, well, you know, it's a time for everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's either you have the power to refresh that and keep it alive if it's real, or it will die out in time.
Right.
But you sometimes you only have 5 minutes of funk. I'm glad to still be touring and bringing this message out and stuff, man, but these lessons have to be given. These conversations have to start being given, and between doing lectures and touring and stuff, it's hard to find value on the conscious message. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not paying for commercial time to really be in people's face all the time, people put a question on what you're talking about.
Right.
Well, Brother Jay's coming here. What is he going to say? You know, what's going to be so attractive? Is he going to do the old Funky Lesson joint? Is he going to talk about Black Power? What's it going to be? You know, you got to kind of trust the brand. If people were so changed by our music and stuff like that, you got to kind of trust the brand and make it down there and get that vibration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you've always known our music and our movement to be real with the elements, we never insulted people, we never said white devil, white crack, or whatever. We always banged on the system, the same system that has us having problems and unemployed now as adults. It's the same system we was talking about in the 1990s. If that is consistent, then at least give it the time of day to say, let me look up these dudes. Let me do some homework. If you do a little homework on Lil Wayne walking out the bathroom in his trailer and, you know, who he's fucking with and all kind of dumb shit, then you can come and look at what the guards are doing in the community. Look at what we did last night here in Ohio. We here in the honor of a young man being murdered in the neighborhood and her not causing a riot, assembling people to say, let's stop the death. And not having to call all these authorities to come and do CIA and all this other stuff. She called the community out, and now we're out here to honor that. And we brought other people who will talk about, you know, stop the drugs and stop the violence and things of this nature. We need to be brave. We need to be brave like that. You know what I'm saying? We need to be a little bit more brave like that. And that's the kind of work that I feel is invaluable. How do we put a price on that? You know what I'm saying? I feel that a lot of the artists that do this kind of work, they get underrated. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're not playing like Nicki on the rotation, people paying for Nicki, homie.
Oh yeah, oh man.
You know what I'm saying? It's real high end and extra, man. But you know, conscious people should unite. Our power is more in the people than the bread, man.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? And we need to prove that more.
And our time is coming. Now, I want to thank you for that. Now, I want to get into the success part, because the reason I do Gianni Talks in a sense is to give people an idea about how the path to success look. And I want people to understand that, like you said, it ain't always about the money. It's about the people. And there's many different ways, forms of success.
Yes.
So I'm going to walk you through, and we might have to do a part 2 because I only get 30 minutes on this little radio show I got. But the first phase of a hero's journey, and you definitely a hero, because and a trailblazer, because you know what I'm saying, you had an opportunity to not only affect people, but you was bold enough to step out and speak out, and not only speak out, but use music as a tool to cover the message, as you say.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a dangerous thing, and it's a hard thing.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And stay kind and not lose your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, when we was chilling, because I could tell a story, you know, but I ain't gonna go to jail here. But I mean, you were and still are one of the coolest people I ever ran into. But the first step that I want to talk to you about is, when in your life did you recognize, as far as for your path, for every hero, the beginning of the journey starts with a separation. What was the separation point for you from when you start looking at life a little bit different, and you had to separate yourself from some of the shit that was going on around you? And we go through this many different phases, so you could start from when you was young, or you could talk about some stuff that might have happened last week, but we all have separation phases.
That's a very, very important point you make here. I'll make a key statement. When I separated from the rat race of MCs and dove more into the movement side, it separated me from the marketing that Big Daddy Kane got, Jungle Brothers, Quest. I couldn't go to Europe and go on tour for 3 months because I'm here in front of City Hall defending the ancestors' bones. You know what I'm saying? That they're getting ready to build over like poltergeist. I'm here with my elders crossed arms trying to defend that. I can't go on tour in Europe and make my brand bigger. It's times that I had to choose between music and what this was, and we were blowing up so hard. It's like, well, damn, how do I, leave the people here, when the African Expos come into the Boys and Girls Festival and we a key element. How do we be in Australia? How do we be in England somewhere? I think those decisions affect how people hire us because we didn't have the marketing that Salt and Pepper and Bismarck and all these cats had, but we were as popular when our music started popping, but we weren't consistent and taking it worldwide, where now Chuck D and them have like 50 tours worldwide under their belt. And we had love from their, from their peership and guidance.
Right.
And we never got those options. And so I look at KRS right now touring all over the thing. And even now when we drop our brand for 2 years, it's hard for people to wrap around like, oh, snap, is that the same X-Plan? I heard this one was gone. Like, we couldn't expand.
Right.
We never got to learn us enough. When I separated from being in that MC market all the time, I think it kept our love kind of underground and personal. Like, I know people who own record shops who have our record in their bag, like personal taste, instead of on this shop floor.
Right.
And that's real deal. I bumped into this. Like, man, y'all done got our stuff on the shelf. Yo, man, I didn't know what to do, but I do have it here. I said, well, why you got it personally? He said, well, this is my vibration music. This is my study. And I'm saying that right there is an accolade, but it's like a hindrance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, damn, you got so much personal love. Spread that vibration of how you felt when that awakened you.
Right.
We didn't get enough marketing when we made the decision to do more movement.
Right.
Businesses were scared to deal with a fuck the America kind of attitude because they get their business from America.
Right.
This is a deep point for people who want to have positive events and they want these companies or governments to put grants and investments behind you. If you're talking anti-system, they get their money from the system.
Right.
You can't go to Pepsi and say, hey, I want to have a, fuck the July 4th,
I want to have it on the 5th, so I can fuck the 4th.
Yeah.
We celebrate on the 5th, type thing, yeah.
4th of July, and I do a lot of different events, man. Like, wow, I be wondering, like, how do y'all get sponsorship? But when they have a rebel white person do it, it's always cool.
Right.
But if it's an organization like like a lot of these movements that have existed for a long time, they think twice about that because a lot of things can happen when you do events like that. People should not be afraid of us organizing as black people. They scared of us like we're going to do something like take over the country. We don't want to take over this country. We want to get ours while we're here. You understand what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be afraid for us to say unity concert.
Right.
We can invite that because that's what keeps us calm.
Right.
They don't give enough trust in us to say we're worthy of organizing our own. This is the Nation of Islam over here. This is how they get down. This is the Hebrew Israelites. This is, these are how the gangs get down and connect to their community. Because if they say bastards of the party, they're still children of the movement.
Right.
Give them the chance to blossom the movement and understand beyond Tupac, you got to get over the thug thing and get to the soldier part of life. They're not getting the extended degrees. They act like we have to stop writing books. I'm so glad to see you writing books because we don't have to stop at Art of War and this and that. We need to be writing our own manuals.
Oh, yeah.
We are the generation. If we don't pick up the baton, nobody's going to, tell you, hey, pick that up.
Right.
If it's on the floor, snatch it.
Right.
If it's in the elder's hand, be earned enough to receive that.
Right.
And be proud every day you get up and say, I earned this.
Right.
We don't live in that stage anymore, bro.
Right.
All
right, so the next phase, and we're going to end it on this phase, and I'm going to go to tape 2, is mentor. And I'm not just talking about a person. This could be a place or a thing, because in the hero's journey, there's always a point in his journey where we run into this magical person or this magical element that we pick up on that helps us through our separation phase, because the separation phase is very difficult because you got to pull yourself away from what everybody thinks is normal, and in a sense go into a whole nother realm, a whole nother dimension. You know what I'm saying? Which you perfectly described by you pulling yourself out the rat race of MCs. You know what I'm saying? So what is it that helps give you guys and keep you straight why you are or why you were in that separation piece? What was the mentor? What was the magic?
I think having what you describing as mentor is what I've labeled in my life as eldership. You know what I'm saying? And eldership not being a person that's an older person, but true wisdom around a traveler. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying traveler in several levels of communication in this conversation, because when you're traveled, you are experienced. And when you walk with a person and you have a worldly thought like unity, you have to be building with someone that has processed how to do that and not how to force it. I can't do 1960s tactics in 2011.
Right.
It's a total different grid.
Right.
So a wise person would say, well, look, this is the way you can do what we did then now, instead of trying to say we never got this off. So I have to pick and choose my guidance very carefully. So that mentor that you're talking about, that's a rare thing. You know what I'm saying? People are blessed in life sometimes to have that in their parents. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't have that option and whatnot, but I think that if they don't have that, you need to find a circle that you trust. You know what I'm saying? When you know you would trust someone, you say to yourself, would I leave my baby in this environment? You feel me? And that will let you know off the head that you don't have to make calls and say, is homeboy cool? You say to yourself, in any movement or any circle that you're in, would I leave my baby with the mentor of this house? That will check everything.
All right, we go. hey, that was hot. But listen, I want to thank you on tape 1. I'm gonna try. We're gonna move to tape 2, and we're gonna finish up. Yeah, right. So, but we gonna.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to spill over.
We gonna.
Coming home.
I want to send shouts out to Oxy Water because they sponsor me in doing this piece here, and I want to thank Brother Jay, and I also want to thank my daughter who sleep on my lap who ain't turned out, and I also want to thank the family whose house we're in right now. So we're gonna step outside. We're gonna complete the interview. So check us out on part 2. Peace.
Girls already.
I'd like to welcome you back. Yo, I'm still chilling with Brother Jay, and this is part 2. So I want y'all to listen up because we're gonna finish this journey and maybe be able to get some more knowledge and some more information and some more wisdom spread on us, you know. So we left off with the mentorship, and he dropped some heavy stuff on us, and I want us to continue on the track of the path of a hero, the self-mastery process. So now we done made it past the mentor piece. Now we're into the most critical piece of that all of y'all know that read my blog and also been following the journey on my little radio show. We want to get into the initiation process, the initiation part of your journey. And what this is after the separation, every hero is initiated. And that initiation ends with either an actual physical death and a resurrection or a symbolic death and resurrection. Can you think about in your life, a point in your life where you went through your initiation, and what secrets did you get so that you can help other people along the path so they can recognize, damn, I'm going through what Brother Jay went through. You know what I'm saying? How can I resurrect myself and recreate myself?
Well, a key resurrection for me was the birth of my son. And I have 2 daughters, and they're older, and I wasn't able to be a part of their life as much as I wanted to. And I felt that the new initiation of myself, their birth, was a symbol of that. You know what I'm saying? It was at a key time where I was resurrecting the clan and trying to figure out how family works with this business, because the system is not built for us to work family. So to create a cultural business when my son was born, this is a key time for me to resurrect a lot of the knowledge that was dead in me. You know, I buried a lot of things when I took my hiatus with X-Clan. And I felt there's a lot of principles that I had to resurrect slowly in myself, and to really truly be an Osarian, to bring the components back together and stand as true man. My first son's birth was a sign to that. In the studies, they look at the symbolic being called Seth. When Zakar and Hawa, who are Adam and Eve and people's mental, when they went to Mecca and gave birth to Seth, that was a significant time, and that kind of birth was what I went through with my son. So I relate with ancestry, and I pass it to this generation to say, look at just little things that have happened in your life, like a birth or like a awakening or enlightenment, and notice that you've already done the resurrection. It's now time to stand up. People always try to reinvent themselves all the time, but you have to just look back and say, damn, about 4 years ago I really did, my mind opened up and enlightened a little bit. I'm late. Let me catch up to my spirit because things have already happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of trying to always reinvent and say, I got to catch up. The physical is moving at a different time than the God energy. And if you study any time in history, the way that the gods see time or the way that the elements see time is different than the human flesh. You know what I'm saying? Where you talking about ancestors' energy that is everlasting, we only have a little bit of time here in this flesh, so it folds. Even when you deal with your pet, their dog years are different. Even if you look at a Jewish calendar, their time is measured differently. Chinese time measurement is different. Find out what time frame that you're existing on and catch up with yourself. Find out who you really are, how old you really are. You know what I'm saying? That's how you use science. So just reflecting on the jewel of
so so I'm hearing a key point, and because he mentioned the Saw, for those that don't know, we get into the Kemetic mystery system or the Egyptian mystery system where he started talking about Saw. For some of you that never heard the term of Saw, you probably heard of Osiris. You can look that up on the internet. Now, but check this out, because you mentioned, it sounded to me that you were talking about, in a sense, the concept of Sankofa, of going back and fetching it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So going back, looking back in the past, connecting with the ancestors, that was one of the secrets that you learned that helped you to maintain the level of success that you are and move you beyond the level of success you are now to a greater level of success in the future.
That's correct.
All right, so the last piece is the reintroduction, because after we go through all these processes, we come back as a new being. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? How do you get people to recognize you as a new being? Because people want to refer to you or want to deal with you as the old Brother Jay, back in the days when things was wild and stuff. How do you get people to recognize the new you, the new recreated you in this path of your journey or at any given time?
Well, the thing is, if you stay on your path and you shine, then people will recognize you. You know what I'm saying? If it's a dark room and you shine, then somebody's going to take a peep at you. So, I mean, a lot of elements you're speaking of in this interview are I went to do deep studies on Yeshua, who they call Jesus, and I was reading some of Master York's material, and there's a section of principles that Yeshua went through or exampled that kept him on deck, and it was sincerity, faith, justice, philanthropy, heroism, love divine, and conquering human emotions. You feel me?
Word.
And these principles are what he practiced at all times. And if you really note, if you practice each one of those every day, you're going to shine naturally. So when people say, wow, that person is very sincere, and his faith, when I talk to him, he energizes me. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah, and the way that he deals with the human, with everyone, he speaks to the babies, he speaks to this, he can communicate with the community. That's philanthropy. He's taking that somewhere else.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
The heroism that we're speaking about here, there's a level of growing that. When you're a hero in your hood, they call it OG now and all of that, they've watered it down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you had community heroes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Justice, being always to be able to speak up for the community and obtain it, not just loud mouthing in front of a building.
Right.
Obtaining what you seek.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Conquering human emotions. We deal with the drama of separating families, depression, all these other things. We have to be able to conquer and balance our waters. You know what I'm saying? If we have a civilization, the waters can't be splashing and tiding and we don't know how it's going to be controlled. We have to have a system where the water irrigates and serves us and doesn't destroy us. That's emotions, water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I say.
Love divine, giving homage to our ancestors, not worshiping and getting down on our knees and losing focus.
Right.
But respecting the elements. Be a part of nature. Grow a plant. Get out and take a walk in the sun and stop waiting till the nighttime just to go and hide in these little club caves. You know what I'm saying? Respecting the elements.
Club caves, I like that.
Real deal.
That's stolen. I'll let you know I'll do a blog called Club Caves.
Hey, because we're becoming savages in these places, brother. And I perform in these places. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing like, you know, like our ancestors did. We traveled and we witnessed other beings. We witnessed beings that left our land of a Kibulan and traveled around the world and became lesser. They became like goblins. We had to go study what happened to them.
Right.
They are our responsibility. So it's no different now. They talking about my people tripping and in the club drinking and dancing around the golden calf.
Wow.
I gotta go.
Right.
And dig in. What do we study all these things for if we don't go out there and use it?
I agree.
They telling me, yo, man, you got to get off the mountain. This meditation, man. There's people bugging out, dancing around this calf and jigging and popping and drinking syrup and ODing and you know all kind of crazy stuff going on, man. I'm like, not my people, man.
Right.
And I come down and from my meditations and from, you know, how I'm growing, I'm not higher than anybody. It's just that I go to different places to obtain my mental.
Right.
Some people choose lower learning. I choose higher learning. So when I come down to see lower mental shit, the radio is blasting lower mental stuff. This generation is so capable of incredible lyricism, and you would just pay them for jingles. You know what I'm saying? That's like me being able to build a NASA and you put me in the mailroom. That's how the radio sounds.
Right. Wow.
I reach for the better in them. I'm not reaching for the radio to sound like all conscious from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock the next day. That's not a balance.
Right.
I want the other stuff to come on and show how ridiculous it sounds up against some of the quality talent that I hear, brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do it like X-Clan got to be #1, and then I put out albums to keep telling cats that the format is not dead. I feel like Jedi when the Sith is ruling right now, there's still a pocket of cats that's still not holding on to the original technique, or at least the balance of it.
Right.
You feel me?
I feel you.
For people who follow sci-fi like that, there's a balance to all things. There's a balance to the Force. It's not supposed to be all good.
Right.
But we at least have to have enough power as a people to say, look, man, you're dumbing me out. Look, radio, if you don't do something, I'm going to make you lose sponsorship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How you doing, brother? I'm going to make you lose sponsorship. We're going to have to boycott you to a point where we'll stop using the products that you sponsor and we'll write a personal letter. No one is doing that.
Right.
And when the people that are doing it aren't getting enough support, the artists won't come out because they feel that they'll lose the love of the station. The people have to say, if you don't get down here with us, we're not going to buy your music. I went to do a thing with Davey D in San Francisco where they were talking about, yo, they fired a guy. I don't mean to get off topic, but it's a solid point here.
It's your show.
All right, then. There was a lady who was coming home, it was a white lady, who came home with her child, and she was turning on the radio and said it was so offensive that this guy wrote a song about having sex with a 14-year-old girl and how tight it was and all this other thing. And this was on the radio live in the afternoon. She recorded this and sent it to the station like, you know, I'm offended as a parent. Like, I have children. Like, this guy's yelling about it like it's funny and he's laughing about it. So they talk about they were going to suspend him, not fire him, but suspend him, like pat on the hand. You're talking about hitting a 14-year-old girl on the air and wrote a song and a jingle to her and was kicking it live and recorded the song. Now, they had a court hearing about this to talk about the language and stuff on the radio and so on, and how this guy should be fired from the station and not pat on the hand. No artist showed up. Not one. I was there. But no other artist, as full as the Bay was. And I said, well, why no other artist showed up for your invitation? People scared that the radio's going to stop playing their stuff. They're not playing them anyway.
Right.
What you losing, it's the best time for you to step up.
Right.
You're going to be an NBA player, and they negotiating your contract and how you should run it. You don't show up to the meetings. You should be coming there saying, yo, man, excuse me, all of my material is going to be clean from now on. I'm starting a fresh plate. If the people step up, we'll be here as artists. They had the opportunity to do that, and they ruined the market. You had 1 million cameras flashing, free press,
right,
right? A solid theme and topic, and you couldn't step up with 7 other artists and say, yo, man, I'm not cursing on my lyrics no more. I'm dedicating my music to all families who go against this kind of bullshit in the game. Not one artist. That's embarrassing. I'm standing there by myself telling them, hey, you know what I told them? I said, why y'all begging about the mainstream radio? There's hundreds of community radio stations.
Oh my God, we on an internet radio station right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I feel you because one of the things that I'm doing with one of the programs I'm working with now is I'm sending out a survey to kids and I'm finding out which station they listen to the most. I'm gonna do a survey between 400 and 1,000 kids, young people in this area. I'm gonna find out what station they listen to the most. So I already know. But I just want the evidence.
I bet you it's going to surprise you that it's going to be no station. It's straight iPod. It's straight download.
I got that on there too.
And it's straight street tapes. If you go in the Midwest and the South, homie, the mixtape is the language of the artist. You know how you watch movies that have animation middle pieces that you have to see before the next movie comes out?
Right.
There are gangs of mixtapes. So when you see Lil Wayne or Jeezy, it's not based on 4 albums with Def Jam. It's based on, you just seen Lil Wayne in his drawers with his kids, with his woman, with everything. They control the market, homie. It's ridiculous. That's their language. Behind the scenes, you can't beat that. They want to know what's happening behind the stage. So if you're giving them a mixtape when Kanye come out with a hot beat and you give them the first vocal on that, that's behind the scenes. Ain't no... it's not like how we used to do, like what station? I listen to Power 106 a lot. I listen to 98.7. No, that's all bullshit. They're saying fuck the radio too.
Okay.
They're saying fuck the radio too.
So we got to grab that. We got to grab this mixtape market. We got to grab this internet radio.
It's been like that from bootleg, brother. That's what killed us. That was the excuse of the label say, hey man, the sales have disappeared. It must be bootleg. Bootleg made labels money because you can't count. You can't count the audit.
Right.
If you're selling 50,000 copies a week, if I'm a label, I could chop 20 off that and say maybe the streets are buying them. Someone walks up with my tape today, it maybe was a copy. There's no way for you to audit what's going on. Artists weren't even smart enough to create an audit system for themselves. They should have came up with the barcodes. That should have been an artist thing, not a company thing. That should have been a direct link to the lawyer or whatever to say, look, man, we're all with the manufacturer together. This is a 50-50 deal. Cool. Let's put this barcode on. This is our signature, so I don't have to keep calling your label. It's an indication that every sale, it comes to us and says, a record was sold today. A record was sold today. We don't even have enough sense to do that for ourselves.
All right, now let me say this. So we made it through that part of the journey. What message did you give to a young artist that may be listening to this? Because I got a lot of young partners that want to get into the game. Because you just broke down a part of the science of something we need to be controlling. What other message you got for striving artists out there?
Get your skills, because without the skills, you can't make no bread. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're talking about eliminating money that everybody worships right now. You got to be 2 steps ahead of whatever that's going to be. So whatever the society is going to value, you got to obtain that now. For us, it was school. For people who invested in that early computer stage and didn't dip out like we spoke about, they paid right now.
Right.
They can go and build anything right now. And people was like, oh man, I'll catch up to that later.
Right.
Never caught up.
Never caught up.
So now, master it. It is a new age. It is a ripe time to be born and existing and have plenty of sense as an adult. Say, man, let me make a decision right now and stick with this consistently for 4 years, 5 years. Like a college student commits to college.
Right.
I'm going to be here for 4 years. I have to plan everything around that. Do that with life. We always do that when somebody else tells us to do that. Your professor, okay, we accept you. Oh, shit, I got to get ready. But with our life, we don't ever do that.
Right.
We always waste time. Look at yourself in the mirror. We're going to make a 4-year plan. I'm going to master this skill. This will add, while I'm on this journey, like we speak about journey, these things will add to my career and my goal. I will see growth in myself because at certain platforms, I should be a car in 6-7 months if I save the way my plan says. A house or an apartment 3-4 months ahead of the rent if I plan and stack this way. Those type of planning. that helps you to know if it's going to be a credit system. You know how to plan and handle your budgets in the future. This is how we use reparations. I say to the Reparations League, okay, suppose we win and get the money. We don't know how to use it.
Right. We're going to throw it right back in the system.
We're not even, all of the skills that I'm talking about a young person should get are the elders' responsibility to provide the education.
Word.
So this is a twofold conversation. Okay, youth, you got to get A, B, and C. Where they getting it from? You are the teacher. I'm the teacher. Everybody we hang with, everybody motherfuckers smoke weed with, everything. Those people are the teachers. You feel me?
Word.
So they have to take the responsibility and say, I see the skills that this person is going to need. Let me do this. Let me create this program. Right off this conversation, they can see right now what skills they'll need. If they just follow this interview, a young person is going to need to know how to use money. They're going to know how to buy real estate in 2000 because the market has changed now.
Right.
It's unpredictable. So you can't teach them 20 years ago game. Like we can't teach 20 years ago movement. We can't teach 20 years ago business shit because the system is changing and new currency is coming in. So people have been teaching old money game, going to have to upgrade it. How do we surface and move around the Amero?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How do I avoid having the chip, or is that qualified for me to have a house and a car and a job? What's coming my way? Feel me? So we so far into the ancestry and the pyramids that we're not even realizing the plan that's been on us for the past couple 100 years. That's going to have to mean your ID card may be your chip in your hand. Move around without that,
right?
And try to have a good day. If you white or not, it don't matter. Identification, citizen.
Right. You're right.
All of that stuff is gone. People better study films and really fill out the messages of what these directors were saying, and really study a lot of books that were speaking in code. That's what I tell these young folks now.
All right, check this out, cool. Could you list maybe 3 of the movies that you think aspiring? Let's even take it away from artists. Aspiring young entrepreneur. 3 movies that they should watch, and maybe a book or 2 that you think they might be able to read to kind of decode. Because you did mention Star Wars, because I'm a Star Wars fan. I like the Sith. I actually like the Sith.
I like the Sith. I like the Sith. I understand them.
I understand.
I understand.
Oh, but check this out. You notice that the dopest Jedi of all was the brother.
Yes.
And he the only one with the purple lightsaber, which is a mixture between the red and the blue.
That's Tahuti all day. That's Tahuti. Yes, sir. But I will tell him.
What's his name? Samuel Jackson played him.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu.
That's right.
Dopest one. They had to kill him first.
That's right. He's a great teacher. I would tell him to watch Dune. That's something that me and Professor X used to watch together all the time, and he introduced me to the extra value. I was a sci-fi fan, but I saw how to see the science, in watching Dune. You know, dude walking around with a pyramid, a prism on his wrist,
right,
shooting sound. You know what I'm saying? And the Fremen underground, but yet they move around in the cities. And I see my people, you know, when I see stuff like that. Another movie that I watch on a frequent, it was something, I can't remember the exact name. This is Harrison Ford.
Oh, you talking about the old one?
No, this is not sci-fi. This is a movie about the border. And damn, I can't remember.
Don't worry about the name. Just describe the plot, because we on the internet. Everybody on the internet can look up Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford was in this movie, and it was a movie about the Mexican border, and it was about how 3 or 4 different lives came together, sort of like that movie that Luda and them did. What was it, Crash?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that kind of a mixture of how people's lives intertwine. I thought that was a very good Culture United type of film to watch. And I wish I could remember the exact name. I watch so much movies, I can't remember off the gate, but I will hit you online before the interview comes out. I'm trying to really think. And another movie, The 3 Kingdoms. I think people should start watching films behind philosophy books like The Art of War. When you start to understand the lifestyle of generals at a time frame in China where people were trying to think 3 different ways. You know, these kingdoms represented tradition. One was trying to represent a new way with guns and cannons coming in and adopting to the new world, saying if we have to defend ourselves from an enemy, spears and arrows are not going to do it.
Right.
And then you have people who are totally in the faith of whatever way it has to go down. We have the spirit of the ancestors and access to the technology if we need it. So you have these kingdoms thinking differently, and all of their generals are expressing themselves in different philosophies under Sun Tzu, who was part of one of the kingdoms, the Sung dynasty. He was part of that family. He was part of that bloodline. So if people start to watch the films, they start to see how these generals got along when it was time to battle an invader that had powerful influence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they can start to say, well, what would I do as a general in this position? You know, I was telling you today how I prepared Dark Sun Riders back in the days. We used to take the Art of War, and for each, we studied a chapter together. So instead of saying, yo, man, read this and come back.
Right.
I don't want you sitting and farting off at the crib. I want you to come back with a report on the chapter to say, when Sun Tzu said this, instantly I took these elements and started breaking down, because when you break down philosophy like that, you start to read through the code of the Bible. You start to read through the code of many Shakespearean, quote-unquote, style manuals by breaking down other levels of philosophy.
I call it being symbol literate, being able to look at the symbols and words and being able to transcribe them across, because we're surrounded by symbols, and a lot of people are ignorant of the message that's coming to us. So you can watch Star Wars and see no relationship between yourself, when in fact, if you really look at the movie, most people are living the life of Luke Skywalker when he was caught up in a desert with nothing to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Trapped. You know what I'm saying? That's the hero's journey.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I go through the self-mastery process with people, because I want them to see that the same thing that you're going through is the same story that everybody else is going through.
Yeah, and most of those stories are about our ancestors.
There you go.
The Jedi come from us. That's a Semitic mathematics.
Right.
That's a being who has mastered their senses in full, the 9 senses, not the 5.
So to end this up, first I want to send shouts out to Oxywater and everybody that's supporting this. I'm going to get out here and make sure people hear this, and it's going to be online on my Spreaker account so that y'all can listen to it on the radio. And I'm going to suggest that maybe you get a Spreaker radio show for yourself, because you got a lot of good ideas, and we need to start getting this out, because even if people not purchasing it yet, like you said, we need to be prepared. So I'm stockpiling all my stuff. You also spoke real quickly about a book that you was writing that you possibly gonna bring out. You want to mention?
Sir, the Osarian Calculus. They'll know for it soon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So we'll be looking for exactly. Now, is there a place on the web where they could get in touch with you, or they could see your stuff? Do you have a website or?
We have several websites. They can just click X-Clan on the Google, and a million things will pop up. All the videos. The MySpace was the most frequent one that I was using. It was easy for me. We're reestablishing a new site. We're building something called the Cypher site, which is going to be like access to cultural merchandise, as well as books and manuals and stuff that we speak about. So it's a bigger situation, so I wanted to take my time in building it, because I want people to trust their resources with us, and I don't want to build a jinky site. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah,
So
man.
I want to thank you for giving me the time and having an enlightening conversation with me and the people that listen. And also, you know, I'm going to hit you up with my man so that you can also check out the blog. And if you want to add some stories, if you got stuff you want to put on the blog, I have no problem with it.
Yes,
but once
sir.
again, it was a joy. And with that, I'll say peace.
Salute. One.
Community was just hands down. That was our choice. It was a no-brainer. It's like a friendship thing to me.
It makes it so nice dealing with people that have the same values as you.
I feel that Community Bank does care about not only my business, but me personally.
Community Bank still has enough power, but small enough to have personal touch.
They're working with you. They're like the old-time bank. When I first started, that's the way the old banks used to be. And Community seems to be that bank, the same old bank.
Get out of the old and get into the new at Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan. When you drive one of our vehicles, you'll discover the thrill that only comes from driving a Dutro vehicle. Why buy at Dutro's Auto? We offer a great selection, quality reputation, and competitive pricing, and our customer satisfaction is second to none. Discover the thrill of driving a Dutro vehicle today. Dutro Ford Lincoln Nissan in Zanesville, Muskingum County's largest volume dealer. You will pay less and get more at Dutro.
Community was just hands down. That was our choice. It was a no-brainer. It's like a friendship thing to me.
It makes it so nice dealing with people that have the same values as you.
I feel that Community Bank does care about not only my business, but me personally.
Community Bank still has enough power, but small enough to have personal touch.
They're working with you. They're like the old-time bank. When I first started, that's the way the old banks used to be. And Community seems to be that bank, the same old bank.
Coming at you live from the hookah spot. I'm sitting up here with my sister Alpha Leon.
No, she's Alpha Leon.
She done grew out of the Alpha Leon. She hot now. She Alpha Leon.
One word like Cher, like Madonna.
Right.
Beyonce.
Right. Just one word. I just describe it by one word, and you find it in all the ones you mentioned, especially Beyonce. Yes. But check this out. Now, this is my sister. We sitting up at the hookah spot. We got a whole cast. Got a whole cast of characters up in here. We gonna talk with them later on tonight. But right now, I'm focusing on Alpha Leah because she got a plane to catch, and she blessed me with this interview. Now, let me go and explain it a little bit. Huh? This is recorded, baby. I wish I could do live, but here we go. Now, in Gianni Talks, I take people through a process, right? And I ask you different questions. So it's all based on the rites of passage model. Of course, if you was reading my books, you would already know this shit, but, I know you're a star. You can't read my books and stuff like that. But, just joking. All right, but check this out. You ready? First question. Now, we're going to start with the separation phase. In every hero's journey, or heroine in your case, there's a separation point where they have to decide on which direction they're going to go. Can you relate in your life when you made your separation? Because at some point in time, you had to decide to take your career seriously, the path that you're walking seriously. What was that separation point?
Let's see, my separation point was when I first decided that I wanted to leave Columbus. Nothing against Columbus. I love Columbus. I love Ohio. But for what I wanted to do, I couldn't really branch out here like I wanted to, and I needed to meet more people who were in my industry, in the dance industry, in the music industry. And I actually had a lot of separation points because in your life there's several times where you're going to get to that separation point. So that was the first one. All right. So I did that. I moved there. And then another point was when I started getting gigs. I started booking gigs. I started touring like internationally, and then I noticed, I watched, I observed, I looked at what people were doing, and I was like, you know what, this isn't so hard, I could do it too. So that was the whole point where I said, okay, I'm going to just start branching out on my own and doing this full time for myself. And every time I decided to make a decision like that, I got a piercing. So that reminds me every time I look at these piercings about the different times I decided to make a decision and to go with it. Yeah.
So your separation in a sense is when you decide to spread your wings and move out your comfort zone. All right, now it got to be scary. How do you deal with the fear? Because a lot of people on the path of success, they make these separations, but it's kind of hard for them to transition to the fear. What were some of the tools that you possibly used to help you move through your fear?
I use fear as I use fear as my companion because I was afraid, but I still use fear. Y'all talking while I'm interviewing and stuff? So I see. Is this going to be edited? Right. I use fear as my companion. I was scared. I was scared to death. I didn't have a job. I had some contacts, but it wasn't anybody I could trust, and I barely had somewhere to live. But they say make sure you're companion. You're scared, and then you learn how to live with fear, and then eventually there is no more fear.
All right, the next step in the hero's journey, we still going. The next step in the hero's journey is this. You find a mentor or a magic talisman or something. Now, in the journey, it takes the mentor takes the shape of either somebody that was giving you guidance or somebody or something that you link to that helped give you the motivation to keep moving through. Because you already talked about how you dealt with the fear. But did you have any mentors or anything that you used personally to help push you through? And do you have a story that you can share with the people? Because it's important that we get these stories out, because there's 1,000 people out there that's following the path of Alkalia, you know what I'm saying, that might have this dream. So if you could share some of the steps that you've been through, maybe you could give somebody some light on some things that they're missing in their personal journey. Go on, think, girl.
I had several mentors throughout my life. I feel that people were sent my way just at the right time in my life, and I didn't see it then, but like I had you, Brother Hatem, I have Sister Yeye, Queen Yeye, I had Queen Afua, I had a lot of different people come into my life to guide me, and I didn't know that they were guiding me until after the situation was done. Definitely, I would say Brother Hatem and even Sister Yeye, when I'm having those difficult times, I would call them and they would give me sound advice. A lot of times it was some shit I didn't want to hear. Can I curse? Sure. All right. It was something I didn't want to hear, but once I took my own time to think on it, it really resonated with me and started to make sense. And sometimes I didn't take their advice and wanted to do my own shit, and I had to fall and realize, you know what I mean, what to do. I had a situation, but I forgot it because I was talking. But well, I would say like one thing that I learned and that's a motivator is, it sounds corny, but is to never give up. Because when I moved out to New York, I didn't have anything. And I was just auditioning, and I moved there to be in one company, and this company had auditions by invitation only. I ended up getting an invitation, and there were about 13 people there. He brought it down to 3. I was one of the 3, and he didn't take me. So I was counting on that to, earn my living there. But I ended up getting a call from a different choreographer to go on tour with him the week after that. So you just got to understand that a lot of things you may not want are not in your destiny to have at that time, but it leads you to other things. So once I took the gig on tour, I started meeting a lot of people in music. I started meeting more people in dance, and I just made connections with people. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful and blessed that it happened the way it did. So yeah.
Alright, so now we done made it through your separation phase. We done found out how you deal with fear. We done found out about your mentors. Now we done move to the most difficult part of the journey. And this is the initiation. Because this is where all your fears jump in your face. This is where you had a symbolic death. You may, like you said, you go through this process over and over again. For you, do you have any stories that you can share with people about your initiation, and what secrets did you learn, the ones that you could share, because some of them we got to keep to ourselves because they give us our power. But what were some of the secrets that you learned during your initiation, like when you were going through the hard times, because that's all that is preparing you for the next step?
Some of the secrets that I learned is to always keep your third eye open. Always, always, always observe. Always look at the people who are around you, because they're going to either help your situation or they're going to hinder it. Something else I learned that you got to listen to that voice in your head. It's the first voice that you hear that you sometimes doubt, but a lot of times that's your inner self, your higher self speaking, and you need to be open to that. You need to be able to listen to that. Keep some things for yourself. Everything is not meant for everybody here. Some things are just for you to keep. You don't need to tell everybody your business. You don't need to tell everybody your business plan. You don't need to tell everybody shit about your man, your woman, your sex life, because that shit fucks with your business. Real talk. Keep some things to yourself. I guess what's another thing? Another thing is to have a plan. You have to have a plan and understand that that plan is going to change and morph, and it may come back full circle to the original thing that you had planned, but it's going to change and it's going to morph, and you're going to grow in that process. So you just have to be patient in that process. And as I'm saying this, I'm saying it to myself as well, because it's something that is ongoing. So, yeah.
All right, last phase. Well, first, let me ask you this. You said keep your third eye open. Could you explain to the folks what you mean by your third eye? Because a lot of people are going to be out there like, well, keep my third eye open. What does that mean? What do you mean when you say keep your third eye open?
What I meant when I said keep your third eye open is to, again, listen to that voice. If there's something that's going on and you're in a situation and it's like, all right, you know what? Don't trust this person. Don't trust them. You don't even have to tell them you don't trust them, but just be observant, be open. Don't make moves without thinking about them first. Trust your vibes. You know when something's wrong, trust your gut. You know when some shit ain't right and you don't need to be in a situation or you need to pull out of something you said you would do. And don't feel guilty about it. Do what you have to do for you.
All right, that was some sound advice. Now check this out. We're going to get to the last phase. Check it out. The last phase of this process is reintroduction. Because after you go through your separation, after you get the mentors and you listen, and sometimes you don't listen because we all stumble. After you go through your initiation and you get you get the new knowledge, you're reborn a new person and you reintroduce yourself. How did you introduce the new Alpha Leah? Not the Alpha Leah, now the new Alpha Leah, just with the whole word Alpha Leah. How do you get people to recognize that? What things did you do to maintain the new knowledge, the new life that you have developed for yourself? Because you know when you come back to Columbus, or when you're out on the road and you meet some people that may have knew you when you was in high school, or knew you when you was just rapping and not singing, or just knew you in a different way. How do you get them to recognize and accept the new you?
Well, when you do it the right way, you don't got to get people to recognize. It's all over you. You don't have to say nothing. You walk with it. It's on you. People automatically see that. And if you feel like they don't see it, fuck them. And you still have to be comfortable with who you are.
All right, now, we done finished the journey. Now I got to ask my sister, let us know about your album release. Do you have a name of the album? How can people, if they want to, can they friend you on Facebook? Do you have a fan page where they can see you? You know, this time, you know, give people something that they could touch. You know, all of my tens and tens of listeners, if they want to get in touch with you after they see your picture, especially after they see the picture and hear the interview, you know what I'm saying, they're going to want to get in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you and find out more about your project?
I am releasing an EP. It will be finished. It will be online this month, available for free download. I'm working with Fly Union's production team called Monkey Wrench, Jay Swiffer and Ivan. Jay Swiffer, who is also my little brother. The album is tentatively called Provocative Diaries. And stop it, honey, stop. Any info about me on Facebook is facebook.com/ILoveAlphaLeah. And then my website is itsalpha.com. That's www.itsalpha.com. And that actually, my website has a link to everything: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, my single on iTunes, everything. Yes, sir.
Now, it sounds like you chose the independent route. Are you going independent? For all those young aspiring artists out there, why did you choose the independent route?
Well, the music industry has changed. You don't need an A&R. You don't have to try to get a record deal from the record company. You can put out songs yourself. If you look at artists like Frank Ocean, even Drake, they didn't have a record deal when they first started out, and they had 1 million downloads. They brought the record companies to them. Record companies came to them begging, can you sign with us? You know, we want to give you this deal. They had deals on the table, and they were able to pick and choose. So the music industry has definitely changed in favor of the artist. So, yes, make sure you have an online presence, and you got to grind it out.
We want to thank our police for joining us on GNJ Talks, and maybe I get to start reading my blog, because the blog is off the hook. I want to send shouts out to Oxy Water for sponsoring these programs, and I also want to give shouts out to the Gypsy Cafe, or what I call the Gypsy Lounge, where I come and do my work. I'm doing some work right now, but my sister walked in, and I had to go and do an interview. So check this out. Check this interview out. Check out some other interviews. I got an interview coming out with Brother Jay. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Brother Jay of the X-Clan. I'm going to have some more live interviews coming up real soon. So stay up with us. And with that, I say peace.
Community was just hands down. That was our choice. It was a no-brainer. It's like a friendship thing to me.
It makes it so nice dealing with people that have the same values as you.
I feel that Community Bank does care about not only my business, but me personally.
Community Bank still has enough power, but small enough to have personal touch.
They're working with you. They're like the old-time bank. When I first started, that's the way the old banks used to be. And Community seems to be that bank, the same old bank.
It's Brother Hatem, I'm back once again. We want to send shouts out to Oxy Water and everything else. What's up? I'm in the middle of I'm at the hookah spot. It's live. I wanted to record live, but of course my job fucked that shit up. But that's cool because I love my job. You know what I'm saying? Really, I need my keyboard and stuff. I'm sitting up here with a crowd, and I got fam up in here, and I got two celebrities. Exactly. I got two celebrities. Now, you heard in the background, I'm being joined by Jay Swift of the Fly Union. I'm going to take him through the GNJ process. You know what I'm saying? This is an up-and-coming group. Actually, they ain't up-and-coming. They already came. You know what I'm saying? Now, we just got to wipe. I guess we got to wipe the crumb off our heads now and shit. They also, he's an artist that believes in the power of the internet, and he's been marketing they've been marketing their stuff themselves, so they're independent artists, so we definitely gonna get in on that. But I'm gonna take them through the journey process, and then we get to the other part of the interview. So Jay Swift, starting you off in the usual way that I start off with everybody in this interview, because what I'm trying to explore is a different path to success. Because everybody got a different idea about what success is, but the path is very similar. So we're going to take you through the process. Start with the separation phase. At some point in your life, at several points in your life, you had to make a major decision where you had to separate yourself from what you knew and get involved with something that was unfamiliar with you. This is the beginning of the hero's journey. It's the beginning of success. Can you recall the time when this happened?
For us right now, I can speak for myself and the other two members who are not here. We are not working. This is what it is, you know.
So you full time with the music thing?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's been years of fighting to try to work the job and then do music, but you work 8 hours a day. You get home at 6 o'clock. You already tired. And with the kind of the buzz that we have been getting, the type of demand that we have to do this, we have to do it right now. Either do it now or never. You got to learn how to survive without the man, because you are the man.
That's it. All right. So you separate yourself right now. This is just another. So you, in a sense, starting a cycle all over. So at some point in time, you got to take some music seriously, and now you take it to another level to where now you can't do your music within the time frame that you are allowed. So you have to step out on your own. So now, let me ask you this.
the next step for the hero, because every hero goes through what you're going through. Because right now I'm quite sure there's doubts and stuff that might be rising up and fears that may be trying to get you.
Even with the family, they're like, what's going on? Like even at home, you just don't know. I'm on a mission, man. And sometimes they won't understand until they see like, oh, okay, this guy. So that show, he wasn't playing, so I mean, you're gonna go through that, you know what I mean? You just have to prove a point. That's what I'm doing with my life and what you probably doing, you know, still. That's what I'm doing. I'm just proving people what I can do and with all my abilities.
Okay. All right. So let's move to the next phase. Mentors. And every hero's journey, there's a mentor that rises up. And this mentor can take the form of a person, place, or thing. You know, in some movies you see, like in Harry Potter, he found the magic wand and he found the school, and then he got the actual person as a mentor with the Dumbledore up in the school and shit. Right now, this is my question to you. What type of mentors have you been running into, and what type of advice have they been giving you, or motivation they've been giving you to keep going during this time in your life, because you're in the separation phase?
I mean, as far as mentors, I mean, there's been a couple of people that I can talk to, that I have talked to. Even I've only met once. Like, I love what y'all doing. People from LeBron to Jay-Z, listen to LeBron who? LeBron James. Yeah, we had to deal with it with his firm, like a production deal. We still do, but we're still cool with them. So I mean, even them, I mean, there's no handouts, no nothing. They're just a fan of our music. But even from him to people like you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, man, I really enjoy what y'all doing. You know, keep it up, give me good words, and I want to come through every day. So I take mentors as anybody, really. It don't matter who you are. Give me an encouraging word, and I'm good.
So so basically, like, you opened yourself up to the universe, and you looking for all the positive energy that's coming to you. You look for all the positives that's coming to you, rather than getting caught up in a lot of the negatives, and you use that as a bridge to help you make it over across. Now I want you to think in your life, because there's this phase in the hero cycle that's called initiation. And this is when we have our symbolic death. Because in every initiation, in some form or fashion, a part of us has to die so that we can move on. As they say in the old days, the boy must die in order for the man to live. For you, what was your initiation? And if you could, share some insight and some of the secrets that you can share with us, because during initiations we get secrets and we ain't allowed to divulge a lot of those secrets, but share with us what you can. What's some of the secrets that you know?
That I've learned as far as
or that you're going through right now, or that you learned in the past during your personal trials and tribulations?
Well, one of the major things is, for real, when I found out I got another me, you know what I mean, going around. You know, once I found out he was mine, that kind of just changed the whole perspective of my life, you know what I'm saying? Personally, musically, and everything. Like, you can hear it in my lyrics, you can hear the pain. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see my son, and that's the number one thing, that kind of changed my whole appearance, and, you know, try to be more of a positive, figure amongst people. You know, that's, for me, one of the most important things ever.
So now we move to initiation. Now we up on this reintroduction piece. This is the part where the hero returns victorious. Can you think about a point in your life where you came back? Because the biggest issue for heroes when they come back, people like yourself who take chances, is that when you go out and you start doing stuff for yourself and you bring back this information, people want to look at you not as Jay Swift. They want to look at you as the young man that left before. How do you get people, or how do you deal with people that want to still continue to deal with you as if you are the same young person that you were maybe 3 years ago?
I tell people all the time, this is me every day. You know what I mean? Like, what you see is what you get. Like, I live what I rap. You know, you don't hear anything in my raps that doesn't happen. You can hear when I'm broke. You can tell when I got a little bit of money. You can tell, I'm just a real person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just an everyday person from Columbus, born and raised here, and just being here chilling. Like I'm never too good to be any establishment, whether what point I am in my career, So yeah, just being an everyday person, man, and be able to talk to people.
So you reintroduce yourself by showing and proving, keeping it real and living what you're writing about, rather than doing a lot of fantasy stuff that some of these people out here doing. I can dig that. Now, for those that's listening that might want to follow you or become a fan or pick up some of your material, how can they reach you?
You can go to fly.u.com. Our album came out April 26th. It's called Degraded in Club. It was another one hip-hop released on iTunes that day.
What?
Yeah, 40,000 plus downloads.
What?
Even more, it's being shared right now, new fans every day. You can go to fly.u.com, go to twitter.com/fly.u. Twitter/JSwift when you want to talk to me. I'll be on there just rambling, so yeah, get it.
Hotep. So you respond back.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright.
I got my 15 of the followers, I talk to everybody that responds to me. So.
Which one you use the most, Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter for sure.
I'm a Twitter. I kind of like Twitter more myself. It's less of that emotional shit going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to reach out to their whole life on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't do that either. I just go there and say some silly stuff every now and then. But some people are really on there. Emo. Unfollow. Hit that unfollow button.
140 characters, man. I just do haikus and shit. I'll be throwing haikus and little links and shit. But yo, we like to thank Jay Swift for stopping by the hookah and chilling with us tonight.
Hey man, let me tell you something. Hey, catch me a year from now. We'll see where we at. You know what I'm saying? The next interview at the hookah lounge on video.
Hey, we already know where you're gonna be a year from now because you got the courage, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't have the courage to step out there. Because you stepped out there, you're going to be blessed. We already know that. So those out there, give my man some support. Check out Fly Union. Help them not only have the biggest hip-hop album just for that day, let's push them towards having the largest selling one this year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm going to put this on my Twitter. Y'all spread it around, because we need to know about artists. And this is the last thing I want to ask you. If you got any advice for up-and-coming artists, for them to get a following like you and be able to jump into the game, what advice would you give them?
Don't do it. Don't get it. I'm just playing. Nah, for real, just be yourself. Surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed. No yes man. The shit's whack is whack. Real. You got it. You know you got it. So just keep people around you that's gonna better your life. From day one. And that's what I try to do.
I got a question for you. How do you tell who's real and who's really with you and who's not?
Because when you broke, you see it. Well, right. When you broke, your friends still be around.
That's true. Hey, you heard it here in Gianni Talks. I want to send shouts out to Fly Union. I want to send shouts out to Alpha Leah. I want to send shouts out to Afua. I want to send shouts out to the Gianni Tribe. And of course, I See Water. Oh yeah, of course we got to remember the Gypsy Lounge because this is where I come and do my little shows. I'm supposed to be doing some work. I got to hurry up and get this shit done. But hey, check me out. Check out the show. You know what I'm saying? And support the people that I'm getting interviews with because I got some hot interviews. So with that, I'm saying peace out. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Community bank, invest in the community. It's not enough just to make loans in the community.
Lovely thing about the community bank is they know what you're kind of going through.
We use every facet, from truck loans to equipment loans. They feel like part of my team.
Community Bank has been an important part of our growth and success.
The community bank is trying to grow the community. No matter what happens, they'll always be my first call.
All experiences are positive. I mean, I've never had a bad experience with Community Bank.
Peace. This has been our Tim. I'm just checking in, letting y'all know everything is cool. Let y'all know I missed y'all. And I'm sitting up here trying to get things together. I'm sorry. Listen, let y'all know that I'm still on the journey and I'm sitting up here. I'm still trying to put together these interviews, but it's been taking me a while, so I just wanted to check in and let those that was waiting for the podcast or who was listening to the podcast, I want to let you know what's going on. I got a whole new situation. We got some new things coming, so stick in there, and I will be getting with you as soon as possible. With that, I say peace and thanks a lot. Any questions, feel free to hit me up. My email is on here. You also can hit me up on my blog, and I'll get back with you. With that, I say peace.
Community was just hands down. That was our choice. It was a no-brainer. It's like a friendship thing to me.
It makes it so nice dealing with people that have the same values as you.
I feel that Community Bank does care about not only my business, but me personally.
Community Bank still has enough power, but small enough to have personal touch.
They're working with you. They're like the old-time bank. When I first started, that's the way the old banks used to be. The community seems to be that bank, the same old bank.
Peace. This is Brother Hot Tim. I'm stepping in late night, got the insomnia and started thinking. And right now I'm gonna take some time to go over the 3 levels of learning for some of the warriors and people that's coming on. This is going to be a chapter in my next book, which will be called Warrior Training and Warrior Training, the GNJ Method. So, in GNJ Warrior, in the Nation Builder idea, we teach and talk about constantly the 3 levels of learning. And it's important that everybody that comes into organization learns to deal with and through the 3 levels of learning. We believe and we know from actual application that by understanding these 3 levels of learning and understanding the process that go with the 3 levels of learning, it makes it possible for the person that practices this to learn anything. So for us, the 3 levels of learning are very simple. First one is called memorization. Memorization is the basic level. A monkey could do it. A dog can do it. All basic animals can learn through memory. In memorization, we look at things and we try to remember them as they are. We, in a sense, scribe them. This is what we call the process in GNJ. We call it scribing, where an individual may look at some questions because we prescribe, we give each individual a certain amount of questions that they need to learn verbatim. They need to learn the question and they also need to learn the answer verbatim by memory, exactly as it is taught to them. So they have to learn how to scribe. They have to learn how to write what they see exactly as it is and learn how to recite what it is that they are supposed to know exactly as it is. We call that scribing, and that's the first level of learning, memorization. The next level is called the intelligence of the mind. With the intelligence of the mind, what this means is now the things that you have memorized, you are now able to digest them and make them your own, in a sense. You are able to go a little bit deeper in thought with these concepts, with these ideas. It means that you are able to really look at it and start asking yourself and other people questions that help you go a little bit deeper with the questions. For example, one of the questions is, what is a warrior? A warrior is one who is experienced or involved in conflict. That's the verbatim. What we want people to do is to be able to look at that question, look at that answer, and go a little bit deeper with it. What other questions come out of what is a warrior? One of the major questions that come out of what is a warrior is, if a warrior is one experienced and involved in conflict, does that mean that a warrior only deals with the physical aspect of war? The answer, of course, would be no. And then the next question would be, well, could a mathematician be a warrior? A mathematician actually is a warrior. So it takes the conversation a little bit deeper. It's intelligence in the mind. So now I could play with these concepts in my mind. And I could build on them. And I could build with other people and I could learn. But this is not the highest level of learning. Actually, this is for us, this is the second level. Now we got to go to the third level. The third level is where, in a sense, we forget everything that we learned. We have digested it. It is ours now. So I no longer have to have a debate about it. I no longer have to share the concept. People can look at me and not need to hear the definition of a warrior because they will see it in how I am, in my way of being. So the last step of learning is intelligence of the heart. Now we'll go a little bit more into that later on, but on another disc. Now, the key piece that I want to tie this into is this, because late night I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking, when we talk about these levels of learning, we need to go ahead and equate these also with the three parts of the human mind, the three different ways we learn. Because, and I'm gonna make this very brief because I know y'all, we have short attention spans out here, and I want to make sure you get this. But according to the studies that I have run into, the human mind is composed of three parts. In psychology, you have it, but physically, the human mind, or the brain, the actual brain, not the mind, is composed of three parts. You have the reptilian brain, you have the mammalian brain, and you also have that part of our brain which is the newest part, that human part that has recently developed in our history, or in the lifespan of the human being, or that the newest part of our brain. So you got, at the core, you have this reptilian part that is basically wired for survival. Basic survival. On top of that part of the brain, you have the mammalian brain, which is basically, it takes survival just a little bit differently. Yes, it's based on survival, but it's also looking for comfort, and it's also looking for food, and of course it's looking for sex, which makes survival a little bit more enjoyable. I want to survive, but I want to be a little bit more comfortable, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I got a steady source of food, you know what I'm saying? So the mammalian brain takes care of that. Then the last part of our brain makes us human. It's the part of us that allows us to think. Now, how does this equate with the three levels of learning? Of course not, but, and most of y'all probably will not understand this for a second. The memorization part is not designed to get into the reptilian part of the brain. It is designed to get at that human part of the brain, the newest part of the brain, because it's best at memorization. Because really, when it comes down to it, whenever we make major decisions in our lives, we base it on survival and emotions, which is controlled by the reptilian brain. So the first level of learning is not designed to get to the reptilian part of the brain. It's designed to train the human part of us. Now, the next level of learning, or intelligence of the mind, is designed for the mammalian part of the brain. Now, when I take these concepts and I play with them, and I think about them deeply, and I work with them, it allows me to give them the emotional charge. Once I really embrace them, once I really understand them, they become my concepts, and I become emotionally charged with this information. I emotionally charge this information and these ideas, which allows it ultimately to get inside of the reptilian brain, which helps me live what it is I know, which makes sure I live what I know, because I base my survival on the concepts that I have. Now, prime example, I work in the school with kids, and every day we give them, we talk them through a process through which to deal with conflict. And every child from kindergarten all the way up to the 8th grade know the steps to dealing with violence. The first thing is that if somebody is bothering you, you ask them to stop. Then you tell them to stop. Then then you remove yourself from the situation. And lastly, if all else fails, you ask or you tell a teacher or the nearest adult. Every last one of our kids know this mentally. They got it memorized. Now, but my question was tonight, which caused me to kind of stay up, is we know information as adults. We know information as kids. We got things memorized. Why can't we act on what it is we got memorized? And then this reptilian part of the brain, basically the idea of the reptilian part of the brain hit me. And then the 3 levels came back and slapped me in the face and said, look, Hakim, the major reason that people are not able to act on the information that they have, whether they're adults or children, is because although they got it memorized, they have not made it their own. They have not emotionally charged it so that it can become part of them, so that they can live it. So if I got my children just reciting something without them investing that emotional charge into what they're saying, and if I'm not really discussing it with them so that they can really look at it from many different angles and learn to grasp it and digest it for themselves, it don't matter. Because basically all they're going to be doing is they're just going to be able to recite what it is we want them to say and what they're supposed to say, but they're not going to be able to act on information. And that's the same for adults. So looking at the 3 levels of learning, it's very important that every warrior understands these 3 levels and start applying and start looking at these 3 levels in your life. If you want to make change in your life, and you know that something you are doing is unhealthy for you, and you know something is not good for you, and there's something that you want to change, and you got all the facts, could it be that you are not changing your behaviors because you have not taken it through the 3 major steps of learning? You got it memorized, but have you really explored the idea? Have you really asked the questions that need to be asked? Have you really emotionally charged the idea so that now not only do you know it, but you become it? This is Brother Hatim. I'd like to thank you for your time and your patience. And with that, I say peace. If you got any questions, feel free to hit me up because my radio is on my blog. The name of my blog is GiamiJourney.blogspot.com. I also got GiamiJourney.com. You can hit me up. This is Brother Hatim, once again representing the Giami Urban Warriors. I'm representing the Giami tribe. So feel free to hit me up with questions. Feel free to challenge me. I don't care. My thing is, I want to get people thinking, period. So if you agree with me, throw some thoughts at me. If you disagree with me, throw some thoughts, throw some ideas at me so that I can wrestle with the concept. And if you are right, I can start asking those questions that will maybe change my path and maybe change my life. So with that, once again, I say peace. You have a beautiful day or night or whatever time it is. It's early in the morning. For me, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So with that, I say peace. Peace. This is Brother Hatim of the Giami tribe. Today we're going to talk about why we teach the young people play Mancala. For those who are listening and don't know what the game Mancala is, you could Google it and look it up. It's one of the oldest games in the world, and one of the major reasons we focus on teaching this game is that it teaches the warrior about strategy. It teaches them how to outthink an opponent. It teaches them how to pick out patterns in space and time while engaging in the activity so that they could make predictions of what an opponent will do in the future. It teaches us how to count rapidly. It teaches us how to take advantage of the moment and how to embrace the moment. It's a form of
moving meditation, which is the next step, I think, for humans. Actually, is a step backwards for humans as far as meditation, because for years I've been meditating, but one of the things that has always been the hardest for me is just sitting still. Not to sit still with some of the best of them, but I'm seeing that there is something different needed. So far as the GNJ development, the GNJ program, far as getting the warriors in shape mentally, physically, as well as spiritually, we're going to be looking at some different alternatives. And Mancala is one of these alternatives. And what we do is we are setting up competitions between young folks and older folks using this game as the centerpiece. Because not only does it teach the things that I said earlier, it also promotes some growth between the generations. You know, kind of trying to eliminate this false sense of a generation gap. Because with this game, all things become even. Because all my experience of playing it, because I've been playing the game for over 20 years. As a matter of fact, me and my friends, we came up with a method that we call the underground method that will be the way people play in our tournaments, the way we play in GNJ is a personal way that we develop. I'm quite sure other people play it like this, but what we did was we looked at the game. We looked at the game in as many different versions, and we took the parts out of different games that we felt worked best and kept the game exciting for us. So we call this the underground method, and I'm teaching it right now at a school that I work at. To the young people. And I'm also teaching it to the GNJ warriors, and I will eventually teach it to some of the Simbas that I work with as well, so that we got a national body of people that's playing this game in a certain way. We could play it other ways, but when we